Let's pray. Let's all stand, please.
Thank you. Amen. Let us all pray. Our Father in heaven, I praise your name. I exalt you. I lift you up. Because it is you, by your arrangement, that all who are governing in office are there. As Psalm 75:7 states, that you sets up one and puts down another. Thus, Romans 13:1 affirms that no authority exists without your permission, and the existing of authorities have been put there by you. Please, Lord Jesus, as your word declare in Proverbs 21 and verse 1, the king's heart is in your hand as the river of water, and you turned it wheresoever you will. Lord, we thank you for directing the hearts of our leaders of this great nation in the areas of development in the various sectors. Father, as you have implored us in 1 Timothy 2:1-2 to pray for our leaders, I lift up our President, His Excellency Charles Sovereign, before you. Our Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, the Opposition Leader, the Most Honourable Lennox Linton, and all members of Parliament. Honourable Johnson Drigo, Parliamentary Representative of the Castle Bruce constituency. I pray for mayors, councils, magistrates, and all other area of leadership on this beautiful island. Sovereign Lord, as they bridge culture, race, and forge alliances, grant them virtue, integrity, and endurance, new strategies and wisdom for the furtherance and the development of this great nation, so your people may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. As we gather in this town hall meeting, I give you thanks for the infrastructural and social work that have already been done. Grant that through the discussions and decisions, we may solve our problems effectively, enhance the well-being of our nation, and achieve together a fairer and more united community. I pray that every motion, suggestions, or idea presented on this floor will be done respectfully. I diffuse and dismantle every forces of darkness that may try to bring about disturbance or distraction and division and confusion. I displace them and declare that order will prevail, and that when we should have come to the end of this meeting, a new sense of hope and purpose will be evident for the way forward. I decree and declare that we must prosper if we put God at the head of our nation, constituency, communities, homes, and lives, all for each and each for all, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And all in session say, Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor Lawson, for this powerful opening prayer. Amen. I now invite the chairman of the village council, Mr. Guilford Laurent, to move. Welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I would like to extend, on the behalf of the people of Good Hope, a hearty welcome to each and everyone present here this evening. A special welcome I would like to extend to members of the Cabinet. We have among us the Minister for Physical Planning, who is Dr. Colin McIntyre. We have with us the Minister for Education, that is Dr. Kenneth Daru. for Health, excuse me, we have Honourable Peter St. Jean, who is the Minister for Health. And we have our... Okay, again, I'm confused. Yeah, we have Honourable Peter St. Jean, who is the Minister for Health. Education. Okay. I get a little mixed up. Now we have our PAL rep, Honourable Johnson Drigo. Okay? Very young and energetic, hard-working parliamentary representative. And we have our own Prime Minister, very own Prime Minister, energetic, ambitious, and loving, caring Prime Minister, Dr. the Honourable Roosevelt Skerrit. You know this, the government that is, we have been looking for such an occasion, and this is the right time. It has finally come. You know, the people of Good Hope has been asking, well, we are not seeing the Prime Minister, we are not seeing our cabinet, except for our parliamentary representative. You know, so today we have a good amount of members of our cabinet, and we have our very own Prime Minister, and we know that they are not just allowing the people to meet them or to come to them, but they are making a sacrifice to go to meet the people. So they are here today with us to tell us whatever their plans are in terms of development for our village of Good Hope and also Dominica by large. You know, Good Hope, we may not be a very well developed, our terrain may not be looking very good. But one good thing about us, we are a loving and hospitable people. So, yeah, feel comfortable among us. And also I'd like to recognize the presence of the media houses there. We have GIS, and then we also have Kyrie FM, and then our very own DBS radio station. Okay, so everybody, welcome, and let us have a wonderful time this afternoon together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brother Gilo. Let me take the opportunity to welcome, in a very special way tonight, to Good Hope, the Dr. Honourable Roosevelt Skerrit, the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. I know you've been asking for him, but he always say to me, one of the good days I will come, because he's a man with a busy schedule, as you can understand. And he made it a point of duty to be here with you, and we've been here for more than an hour and a half, going around the community and so on. I want to also recognize in a very special way the Honourable Peter St. Jean, the Minister of Education, and you will hear a lot about what we've been doing for the education of our people in this area tonight. Honourable St. Jean, welcome. That's one of the pillars of support we have coming from the East, Honourable St. Jean. I want to also recognize in a very special way Honourable Kenneth Darrow, that's the Minister for Health. We've been on the journey together from our inception in politics, and I want to thank him very much for being here with us tonight. I want to also recognize in a very special way the Honourable Dr. McIntyre, who is here with us, the Minister for Planning, and who will share with us a few words tonight. There are some other distinguished people in our midst. Miss Sonia Williams, the UNESCO Director General. She drove all the way to come to Good Hope to be with you tonight. Welcome, Sonia. And I want to recognize in a very special way our pastor, who has really integrated himself into our community. And the chairman of the Good Hope Village Council, Mr. Laura, and you, the wonderful people of Good Hope. Put your hands together for yourselves. Let me also recognize the wide listening audience we have out there, listening on radio and television and on the internet through all the mediums. And we thank the media for being here. Let me say that I feel very privileged to be here tonight addressing you. One of the things that we've always done together is that I always report to the people. So by the time the PM decided on having a series of town hall meetings, we had 5 in our constituency already for the year. Local meetings, just reporting to you on what we are doing, where we are heading, and so on. Of course, I always wish the crowd would have been large like this one, but I must say that you, the people of Good Hope, you always turn up to these meetings and make your contribution forcefully at this meeting. So I want to really thank you for that. You know, Good Hope is a very strong community, strong-willed community, where people speak their mind. And by so doing, you get to know exactly what the people are thinking of, what they want you to do for them, where they would like to see their community go forward. But if you are not strong, don't come to Good Hope. But in all of that, and I can say that to Dominicans, when it comes to responding to natural disaster, no other community on this island can test Good Hope. Because you pull your resources together and you respond to your people. I recall after Tropical Storm Erica, I got here about 5:30. But you, the people of Good Hope, had responded, and you had taken your pickaxes, your shovels, whatever you had, and you tied your waist, and you will ensure that by 4:30 or even a little earlier, all of the victims were already pulled out of the disaster and waiting for government to take action. And I really want to commend you because I saw you working as a community during that disaster. But rest assured, Johnson Drigo, one of my core commitments is to respond to your needs. Whether it's disaster, whether it's flood, whether it's rain, or just family mishaps. Johnson Drigo will not lie down in Casabas in my bed, and my people in Good Hope are in distress. I always ensure that there is enough petrol in my vehicle, because I expect to move at any time I am called, anywhere in this constituency, to respond to your needs. And for that, I thank you for always welcoming me whenever I am responding to what I have to do for you. Having listened to you, whether it's through town halls, on the street, at your home, in formal and informal setting, you and I, we had agreed very early that safety of the people were one of our main priorities when I became your pad rep. And you recall that we had to take a decision to spend a lot of the funds we had made available for us by the states in disaster mitigation. And I remember the place called Savin Jack. Savin Jack is up this area. We had all of the soil coming from the hills over the years after disaster, building up in that area. And we had a major swamp building. You remember that? And we took a decision that doesn't matter what it costs, we have to empty that swamp. And it cost the government $280,000 to clear all the swamp material from up there, and we dump it on the bayside. You remember that? We had Mr. Vidal with his heavy equipment, and it took us more than a month to clear this area. But I could not sleep comfortably while Miss Hamina down on the flat was complaining how frightened she was whenever it's raining because of the swamp over the village. And we had to do something about it. And we cleared it to the point where we took it all the way to Sweet Home. And vehicles were even able to pass on this road, to this Savant Jack Road, after we completed this project. That was a major project for you, and I had to deliver, and I ensured that we did it. And I always say to my people that our area is a disaster-prone area. Disaster mitigation is costing the government millions of dollars every year. Because whenever it rains in Dominica, areas may have small flooding, but sometimes we'll see 18 landslides. And sometimes it takes us days to get to Pitisufwe. But we fight it together. We ensure that we get the machines, we mobilize the heavy equipment, mobilize the dumper, and we respond. As a matter of fact, Tumopo up there will continue to be a challenge. And I strongly believe when we will do the major road rehabilitation that we have on stream for you, the people of this area, we will think of what we're going to do about Tumopo. Because whenever it rains, the first place you get a slide is in Tumopo. All of the loose stones and the plate stones on the hilltop, they come down and they block that area and so on. But we are equal to the task. And rest assured, you, the people of Good Hope, government will spend whatever money we have to for your safety. And as we go along in my contribution, you will see the other areas where we have put your safety first and we have responded to natural disasters. When we came into office as well, you remember the famous wall by Ina. We told you we were going to build this wall. But not only did we build this wall, we built the wall and we built the road up to the flat below Mangrove. And I remember visiting Mangrove sometime a couple of years ago. And I took a fall coming on that hill among the shufwedi. You remember the shufwedi in the drain? Right, there was a gutter there. And there was some serious shufwedi there. But I would still visit. And in those days, it was my foot. And let me give you a classic. I told Mangrove, I will build that road for you. Mangrove, you will get that road. She said, you know, more market. But what was interesting, Mangrove fell ill. And when the road was completed, ambulance was able to go and get Mangrove at her home for the first time. And so today, we are on to phase 4, which is the completion of the road all the way to the junction by Mr. Guilford, Lorraine, the roundabout. And I remember having to go to Roseau to speak to Maseto is his name? I forgot. Anyway, Ma Emab, the owner of the land, her relatives in Roseau. I went to town and I said to them, we have to cut that road in Good Hope. We have to break that bottleneck. Because when there is a disaster in one area, the likelihood of the people being blocked is there. And this has to be done. However, we cannot pay for the land. So I'm here to offer you the payment for your crops. She said, Mr. Drago, we want money for our land, you know. But it's for the village, we agreed. And we enter into an agreement and we paid them for all of their crops and they allow us to cut the road. And I must also thank Mr. Dempsey and his family for allowing us to cut the road on their land without compensation, only for the land. As a matter of fact, I met him today, he's making trouble for a wall. I might have to give him a wall. However, we were able to cut that road. And today, I consider the road from by LE to the main road one of the most important projects we have undertaken in the community of Good Hope. And all of this is for your safety, because your safety remains my number one priority. When we did the crossing by the bayside, you remember after a storm what happened? All of the old refrigerators and stove, and I hope nobody never put that in the river again. We had a pile of old refrigerators and stove that blocked the culvert down there. You remember that? And this was a danger. We did not have the road going through on the other side yet, and we had this old culvert there. And while I was debating for that road for you, My people for Casabros, they were debating for the Senos Bridge. You must have heard me speaking of the Senos Bridge. But I told the people of Casabros, yes, they will get Senos Bridge one day. But I must give more attention to disaster mitigation in this area. And I took the decision that we will build this bridge down on the bayside. And since we build this bridge, not even Erica could touch it. Is that true? Had it not been for that bridge, do you know what Erica would have done to us on that side? Blocking all our people and having a threat to our people? My dear people, I listen to you carefully and I take action based on your needs. They may not always be popular, but as long as I'm convinced that it is for your safety, and you know, Good Hope is a special place. Whether it's good or bad, somebody will criticize, but that's natural. As long as I am satisfied after discussing with you that the project is important for your safety, I will go ahead with it. And I'm happy that very often, after it is heavily criticized, everybody comes back and accepts that it was a good job. But that's natural. We will continue doing that. And my dear people, we haven't stopped. I was just telling the Prime Minister today that the projects after Erica, an assessment was made for all of the disaster mitigation projects to be undertaken in this area. And I have a document here from disaster vulnerability. Yeah. From the disaster vulnerability project called the DVRP. And that is a World Bank project, specially designed with funds to assist us on the East. As you know, the World Bank project, the procurement project and process from the World Bank takes time. So very often, a project that is conceived within a given year takes 4 years minimum to see the first shuffle being undertaken. But what the Prime Minister and I has agreed upon is that we're not going to wait on the DVRP to do the critical interventions that needed to be done in this area. And so, you remember that culvert in, as you live in Good Hope, as you live in Rachel over there? This culvert there. We having the two déjeuner. Still in the village. We spent over $100,000 and we did that project. Now, by Hermina, and I call it the Hermina Crossing. This project over there by Miss Hermina, I call it the Hermina Crossing because Hermina every day tells me, Mr. Drago, si nous pas fait quelque chose avec culvert ça, n'importe où nous qui aller. And I agree with her. Lo and behold, last week when the DVRP came on one of their other missions to with their engineers to look at the projects that they had to be undertaken, they found that 3 of the projects, 1 had been completed, and this crossing is under construction. And in Pidisufwe, where we had 117 feet long drop, this is also under construction. So they have to go back to the drawing board because we cannot wait until the World Bank is ready. We have to do what it takes to ensure your safety, and we have undertaken these 2 projects. And rest assured, there are another 15 interventions. And we will continue to knock them out one by one. I will get the engineers from Public Works to do the assessments, and I will get the Prime Minister to sign it in the usual fashion. And we will have people tender for this project, and we will get this project done. But I know the people of Casabos is listening. So I want to say to the people of Casabos tonight that your Senos Bridge could not have been done before several interventions from Casabos to Pidisufwe. Now that we have a little cushion in, not that everything is done yet, but we have a window that your Senos Bridge is about to go to tender, and we will construct the Senos Bridge in Casabos before the budget of 2017-2018 for the Casabos people. And I know they're listening. So I want to again thank you, the people of Good Hope, for your tolerance and understanding. I am here with you sometimes I say to you, the project will start in a couple months. But you know how it goes. There is always something to delay a project. So we really would like all our projects to start on time. But we're working with a system. Even the government system has its challenges where projects are to go back, and sometimes the project which finance and it goes back to the Ministry of Public Works for additional information and corrections and so on. So sometimes the projects, they take time before they start. But Good Hope is not the same. This is not the same Good Hope you knew before. We are slowly but surely transforming the village of Good Hope. And we will get to where we want you to be, my dear people. Just bear with us and so on. And so, we've done this road. There are a few more projects that we have to do by way of projects in Good Hope. I realize that the people from the Stephanie neighborhood, they were working on private land to their homes. And we saw all of the erosion. Now we have even lost the mango tree. So the soil eroded over time, and the mango tree fell recently. Again, with my negotiating skills, I got the owner of the land to agree for us to construct a road, more like a footpath, over the old house, okay, for the people living in the Stephanie neighborhood. I'm happy that we were already, through funds provided by the Prime Minister, we were already able to build a crossing for them, so they no longer have to go down in the ravine. We built a nice crossing for them, but we could not continue with the project because it's private land. We had to get permission from the private owners to do a concrete footpath. So we now have got that permission. I have already spoken to the Prime Minister about it. Next week, I'll be bringing up an engineer to give me an estimate for the road for the people living in that entire neighborhood. We will take a footpath from the main road to the crossing, and we will take a footpath again from the crossing all the way to the people living in that area to bring some comfort to them. And this is what we're about to do for the people of Good Hope. Today, again, as you know, I had an estimate for guardrails just below Mr. Tino in the corner. Today, the PM and I looked at it, and the PM said to me, Mr. Drigo, not guardrails for here. You must put up a retaining wall first, and then guardrail. So as early as next week, I will have one of the engineers from the Ministry of Public Works to come back and do an assessment for us for that sharp corner down there. And we will build a retaining wall, and we will put guardrails just below Mr. Tino in that sharp corner there. So it has always been on the card. So it's not going to be only guardrail anymore. We are going to put a retaining wall there. And I see Mazejim looking at me from Sweet Home. Yes, Galmo. As you know, we have a challenge up at Sweet Home, and we have gotten a contractor to do an estimate for us for Sweet Home. The estimate is with the Ministry of Public Works. The Ministry of Public Works have taken the second step. They sent up an engineer to verify whether the costing given to us by the contractor is actually correct. And the engineer has gone back to prepare the contract document so that that project can go up to the ministry so we can undertake the clearing of the road for the people in Sweet Home. The intention is to clear the drains properly for them, clear the landslide, and to give them proper drains and proper terracing and so on. We are not sure yet what is going to happen with the entire road up there. So therefore, what we'll do for the time, like what we have always done, it's just that this time we will hit, is to always clear it and give it some tarish and make it easier for the vehicles to move up to the people in Sweet Home. So we have not forgotten you, the people in the Sweet Home area. We will definitely do that road for you. Additionally, we are looking at the possibility of ensuring that this sharp corner we have when we live in Good Hope, where only one vehicle can pass at a time, when you leave the Darrows and you take in the sharp corner here, we are looking at the possibility, and we will do it, of opening this corner. I was there with an engineer recently. We are looking at it because, however, all of the surveys has to be done so we can get the proper estimates for the intervention which must be done. As a matter of fact, when I visited the office of the engineer about a week and a half ago, he had already sent the request to the quantity surveyor of the Ministry of Public Works, and they will be surveying this area, and we will open this corner for you so that 2 vehicles can move in that area at one time. But we did some work there, you know. You remember the corner at the head of the hill? Only 1 vehicle could pass there. And I had to get Vidal, you remember that? To open this corner for me. And it's just that we should have taken it all the way down from the inception. But I realized we were having accidents in that corner, and we opened that corner properly, and we haven't had accident in that area since. So we are looking out for you, the people of Good Hope. We are working for you. The government is investing money for you, the people of Good Hope, and in Good Hope. The other area that I want to share with you is the area of the government decision to eradicate pit toilets. We had a first phase before the national plan, which was a small project. But I can report to you that, as a matter of fact, just this afternoon I saw a dumper passing full up with blocks, that as we speak, facilities for you. Now rest assured that everybody will get one, but not all will get. As a matter, we have 5 contractors working right now. Even for the persons whom we have contracted, I have asked them to do 3 at a time. So they're getting material for 3. I don't want them to start all 5. So they're doing 3, and then they will do the other 2. So if you see somebody bathroom start, yours is coming, my dear people. We will give everybody who do not have a facility before the year is over. But we are starting with those first 20. And I want you to also know, people of Good Hope, that Casabros, with a larger number of persons without washroom facility, got the same amount as Good Hope. So the PM approved 75 bathroom facilities for the constituency. Okay, Appa, your turn will come. Your turn will come. So as I was saying, 20 for Casabros, 20, everybody with me? 20 for Casabros, 20 for Good Hope, 20 for Pidisufwe, 10 for Toronto Deepa, and 10 for Sansove. Total cost, $825,000 is being invested in the constituency as we speak for washroom facility. Creating jobs for over 70 people across the constituency, my dear people, in one way or another. And not only the contractors, the trucks are busy carrying sand and cement, and young people are involved. People are carrying blocks to sites. So things are happening. The constituency is moving. People are advancing. Work is happening. But don't forget, Dominica is coming out of the disaster called Erica. And we are still able to do all of this work for you. So when you hear people say nothing is happening in this country, that's because they're blind. And we must never elect blind people to run this country, because they will not be seeing what they need to do. And that's why I can tell you, my dear people, one of my resolve is to ensure that persons who do not have interest in you do not come here and say they're going to represent you. I will do what I have to do to stop that. Let me give you a classic. From since the election, I haven't seen anybody else but Johnson Drigo. it's rain, whether it's thunder, lightning, disaster. As a matter of fact, there was a disaster, and I saw some persons who were involved in the politics on site scene with the camera taking pictures. They didn't come to help you because their shoe were very clean. Not Johnson Drigo's shoe. My shoe can be clean when there's a disaster. My vehicle cannot be clean when there is a disaster. Because anybody who is walking from the farm to the home, whether they're shoe with mud or not, Johnson Drigo will give them a ride. And I will take their load and put it on board. Because I'm representing them. And when I'm doing that, I do not see color. Anybody I meet anywhere who need my help, I do not see color. I pick them up and I assist them. If you decide after all what I have done to vote for me, then so be it. But when it comes to working for you, I work for you. And we will deal with politics at the right time. But I am sending a warning to the people who are not getting involved in nothing that is happening in these communities. Do not believe you will not assist us in anything. And after we've made all our gains and we've fought all our disasters and we've helped cushion the lives of our people, you will show up and say that you were sent by God. My opponent last time said he was sent by God to represent the people. No, we will not allow that to happen. So we'll continue to represent our people. And so, my dear people, this bathroom program will continue, washroom program. Additionally, you will hear tonight that the Prime Minister will make a commitment for well over $250,000 to go into housing renovation for you, the people of Good Hope. Now, I have asked a few contractors to go across the community and assist me in giving me proper estimates for everybody with me. I have asked a few contractors. I will be joining them on Sunday when I come back as well to go across the community and give me proper estimates for the renovation works that needs to be done. We also have Miss Rachel Bonny here, who is working at the public support office in Casabros. Rachel, let the people see you. Rachel is she's representing the government here. And anything you give Rachel for me, I will definitely get it. Cheryl, I'll definitely get it. No, her proper name is Rachel. I'll probably get it. So we'll work together, and we have gotten a first set of estimates, but the project will continue. But I need that as soon as possible so that it can be factored in to see into the budget to see how things can work out and so on. So we know exactly, and we have said to the contractors that one of the mistakes we've made in the past is that we have gotten estimates for renovation, but we have not factored in the labor for these estimates. So we want the contractors to factor in the labor component so that we could bill for some of you, those of you who are not trade, men and women. We will do the job for you and we will pay the contractor. Additionally, we know of the loopholes in the past for some of the materials. So now we want to do something proper for you. And not only that, some of you in the past, the materials we've given to you were not sufficient to complete the job. So we want to ensure that if it's 10 we can do at a particular time, we will do 10, but the job is properly done, and then you are more comfortable, because our job is to make your lives better. One day at a time, one family at a time, one home at a time. That's our job. Okay, I'm going to skip because I want to reach on education a bit there quickly. Education. This is the next area after safety, your safety. The next area that I wanted to ensure that we took advantage of all of the opportunity created by the Right Honourable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit for advancement in education. I have worked tirelessly to ensure that we in the Casabos constituency maximize on this opportunity. Now, parents, you also have a role to play in that. And so, what we have done, you've gotten a brand new school in Sansove. We are now preparing, and the minister will tell you, to do renovation of that school. We've, apart from the teachers who are in the school, we've given the school 4 additional mentors to assist the children with one-on-one remedial reading and other support. As a matter of fact, one of the reports coming into the NEP office is that Sansove School for the first time had 100% pass at the grade 6 exam last year. Every child passed every subject. So, and that is for you, the children of Good Hope as well. It means that you are helping your children and the school is helping your children. One of the cooks at the Sansove School, one of the 2 cooks, Honourable Session, is from Good Hope. Okay? So there are 2 cooks, one from Pidisufwe and one from Good Hope at Sansove School. All in an effort to assist you, the parents. The transportation of your children from Sansove, from Good Hope to Sansove, you didn't know that before. All of you walk to school. And today, the government is providing a bus service to take your children from Good Hope to Sansove of development. And what is? So there are persons who are looking for Dominica to build rocket launchers to consider development. But we're not going to take a jump. We have to give you good roads. We have to give you good health facility. We have to give you good schools. We have to improve on agriculture. This is the kind of development we need before we move to skyscrapers. Maybe one day we'll get there, but we can't get there now. There is too much work to be done first. Because one Prime Minister Kerry came into office, he met a country that was really backward. And he had to improve the roads. First of all, which is one of the main pillars of development, roads, the development of roads. And we are doing that. We are getting there slowly. So we are moving Dominica through leaps and bounds in the face of natural disasters. So when people say to you, nothing is happening in this country, these people are sick, and consider them sick people. And keep them away from your government, because they are not prepared to move this country forward. And so we provided that. People of Good Hope, do you remember when you used to pay to transport your children to Roseau to secondary school? 120 a month and 5 every day for snacks. Those days are things of the past. Do you remember when you used to pay to transport your children to Castle Secondary? Those days are over. And some of you had 2 and 3 children to go to secondary school. As a matter of fact, I learned that some of you still owe in the buses because you couldn't pay them things those days. Today, my dear people, your government, your Labour Party government, led by Roosevelt Skerrit, is ensuring that you have transport to take your children to secondary school. Do not see these developments as little things. These are not simple things, my dear people, because it is costing a lot of money. Over $17,000 has to go to Sansove and Pidisufwe Council quarterly just to maintain the bus, to get the bus to transport the children to Castle Secondary. And I'm talking about Castle Secondary and Pidisufwe to Castle. What about all around the island? Lapland children are now coming up to Castle, and Cranford children are going to Castle, and all of the Carry territory. If the government is not sound with good, prudent financial structure, we cannot afford it. And rest assured, only the Labour Party government can find the funds to maintain these programs that we have at this time. So for those who say Good Hope is not benefiting, tell them I say they must think again, because you depended predominantly on farming. And I know the struggles you have had to meet all of this cost. And we have taken it further, my dear people of Good Hope. Last month, for the first time in Good Hope's history, every child from Good Hope who is attending the Dominica State College got a check for their transportation. And this is going to continue. So my job is to do the work that I was sent to do by you. And I have great respect for you, the people of Good Hope. I have great respect for you, the people of Good Hope. Because when we came in, the first election that I ran, you voted for us handsomely. But the last election, you increased the vote that you gave to the Dominica Labour Party in Good Hope. And so, many people were surprised. Oh, my dear people. Continue doing it. So some of the persons who have not gotten will get. But I want to thank you for your support for the Dominica Labour Party and Johnson Drigo. So stick with us, because we are there for you. We are fighting for you. And no matter what nobody say, we are not giving up. Today, I'm saying to you again, the parents of Good Hope, that we are assisting with college tuition. We now are assisting with transportation. I need more of Good Hope children taking the chances after completing secondary school and going to the Dominica State College and do the 2-year program and get your associate degree. One of the areas that I have to fight is where politics interferes with progress. Are you with me? There are persons who will receive to take the opportunity because of their political leaning. And that must stop. If we are going to assist your child to go to college, whether the child is red, blue, or green, let the child get the opportunity. So, in September, when we are preparing the list for college, I need to see more of Good Hope children. And parents, you must understand that these children are yours. Even though they are teenagers, you still have a right to guide them. The child must not decide what they're doing as a young person, as a 16-year-old who is at your home. So they can't say, I'm not going to train, and you're feeding them. They don't want to go to do anything and you're at home feeding them. You have to send the children either to do a skill or to go to the college. Don't keep them at your home. The youth officer is from Good Hope. She lives in Good Hope. And apart from the program, the computer program, we still have a challenge in getting the number of students we need to get from Good Hope to go to the youth skills to do a program. But we're going to fight that hard. And parents, you must help us in that respect. As a matter of fact, we did a boat training and fish pot making at the Youth Skill Training Center, and we didn't have more than one person from Good Hope. Through the constituency empowerment, I secured funds, and we have purchased all the equipment and tools we need for auto body repair at the Casabros Youth Skill Training Center. I need at least 4 young men from Good Hope to be part of that program when it starts in a couple of months at Casabros. And we can get that. Additionally, again through the constituency empowerment money, Peter, that's what I do with my money, I got all the tools needed for small appliance repair and refrigeration. So a young man ordered all of the equipment. Now I have them in Casabros. So we're going to open a module at the youth center for training young people in small appliance repair, to repair the televisions and so on, and to fix the fridges and so on. When this is going to start, I must have at least 2 young men from Good Hope in that program, because I don't want us to send our refrigerators all Roseau for fixing. We go to do that in Casabros. And let me tell you something, my dear people. That's where the youth center is based for the district. It is easier to bring people down there and do a training than have everything in all of the small hamlets. So hopefully we will get some of the young people of Good Hope get it involved in this program, and we will do that for you, the people of Good Hope. And so, my dear people of Good Hope, as I turn my pages and move a little further, I want to come to agriculture. And I have had several meetings here with you to assist you and support you in areas that we should undertake to move agriculture forward in this area. But you know the area that you are farming and the challenges that you have had. I have said to you that you need to work with specific marketing programs, whether it's through Dexia or through your exporters. Because what has happened to us here in this area, in the past, you would just put your 2 bags of ginger by the road and anybody would come for it, and so on. But now, it's a bit more challenging for you because we have the pack houses, they are operationalized. Most of the agricultural produce are going through the pack houses, so you have less people coming into Good Hope to purchase 2 bags of yams and 1 bag of yam and so on and so on. So this has become a challenge for you. Secondly, people of Good Hope, the prices that you used to ask for your produce in the past no longer exist. And so, some of you in Good Hope, you have a habit of supale ikite. Am I right? And you stuck to your price of $10 when other areas they can get it for 90 cents. And sometimes your ginger and so on stays with you because of the price that you want for your produce. Now, I respect that. But I'm saying to you that about 2 months ago, I brought here with us the head of the horticulture program in the Ministry of Agriculture, and I told you that we were preparing for you a program because we want you to start going into contractual farming. We want you to sign a contract with Dexia or so that you can produce for Dexia's market. Now, I know that you told me that some of you had bad experiences with Dexia and you would not like to enter into the program with Dexia. But this is not the same Dexia. Dexia now has 2 multi-purpose pack houses in Roseau and in Portsmouth processing all their produce. And hucksters who used to come in your area are now calling Dexia for produce because they know they will get it properly cleaned, properly packaged, and with the accurate weight in each box to meet the SPS measures out there, what the market requires. So, we signed an agreement with Dexia for yams, potatoes, and cucumbers. I'm saying to you, the people of Good Hope, the first community, as a matter of fact, I have the contracts with me. The first community where we want to enter into yams and potatoes will be with you, the farmers of Good Hope. We will be coming back to meet you very early next week, and a representative of Dexia, Mr. Bristol from the Park House, and one from Ministry of Agriculture will be here. We will have the contracts. In the agreement, there are incentives. We will provide you with a consignment of fertilizer and some of the Roundup and so you need for clearing the land. And we will support you. You will be supervised and you will be told the market that you are producing for. But we expect you to stick to the agreement. One of the things that we have had in the past is that we've had agreements with some of you, and then when somebody passed who is giving 10 cents more, you would sell all of the crops, and then when Dexia comes, they can't get anything for the market it was intended for. But this agreement that we're going to sign with you, We expect you to stick to it, and you'll be supported. And that will be the first in a series of programs that we will be starting for you here, the people of Good Hope. Because we want you to be part of programs, so that you're not just planting and hoping somebody will pass. Because when you plant and hope somebody will pass, sometimes if they don't, all your crop stays with you. So we will be entering into a couple programs with you. Today, we were having a meeting. And remember, I spoke of the Dashing Initiative for the United States. And we even have a clash where we now need Dashing for the British market and the American market at the same time. So we're looking at a trial container for the US market and to continue sustaining the market that we have on the British market. It means that we need farmers to go into Dashing. So there's a series of meetings going on across the island for that initiative. When I called today, I got 2 farmers with Dashing, and they'll be supplying Dashing next week for the US and the British initiatives. We will be asking a few more Dashing farmers of Good Hope to go into Dashing for this market. So we will assist you, we'll have a program with you, and you will plant Dashing for the export market. And when you plant it for the export market, you may not get the price the huckster is giving on the pickup. But we expect you to stick to this market, because what you need is market for your crop. There is money to be made in agriculture, but it must be organized. It cannot be done in the way has been done in the past. So this is another excellent program that we're going to ensure that you, the people of Good Hope, take advantage of. I know you have your small farmers group. We've been assisting you with fertilizers, and you have already gotten your consignment of the Morocco fertilizer. I know there are some farmers who have not gotten. We will ensure that every farmer in Good Hope get at least 1 bag, because what we got was half of the last time, but we are not forgetting you. And another history for Good Hope. I am the first man, when there is fertilizer in the area, ensures that Good Hope consignment comes to Good Hope to meet you, the people here in Good Hope. So we are distributing it in Good Hope for you, the people of Good Hope. So I want you to take advantage of these opportunities that we are creating for you, the people of Good Hope. And so I have about 5 or 6, 7 speakers here with me tonight. And I want to give every one of them an opportunity and continue to interact with you. But I just want to thank you for understanding Johnson Drigo. I want to say to you that my work is not yet complete. There's a lot of things that I have to do for you, and I will continue to do for you. But I'm satisfied that with your assistance, we are seeing light at the end of the tunnel in Good Hope. We are making remarkable recovery in Good Hope. And this will continue. But remember, your government, the Labour Party government, we do not have all of the funds we need to do all of the work that has to be done in our communities. So it will be one step at a time. Today, the Prime Minister took a decision, and that's because I should also tell you before that we have a project where the council, through themselves, will be paying for 8 street lights for Good Hope. The Ministry of Public Works is giving us an additional 6. And the Prime Minister took a decision today that we will light the entire new road we just constructed. So for you, the people of this Cochrane section, not only will you no longer be walking in mud and have to walk with 2 shoes on your way to church, one for the mud and one for you to put after you cross the mud. Not only will you be on a highway, as a matter of fact, somebody told me that's a highway now, you know. That's where everybody want to pass. Not only will this be happening to you, but we will be assisting everybody on that road whose house need repairs, and we will be lighting every pole on that road. So this will be a highway, a boulevard for you, the people of Good Hope. So, in closing, you will see me as often as you always do. Sometimes they say I pass Good Hope Street, but I have to go to San Sauvé. I have to go to Piri. I have to, and sometimes I have deadline. I'm running late. I have to go to the other churches. And sometimes I have to go to funeral. Can I miss funeral? Even though sometimes when I arrive at the church, I ask who died, but I'm there. Because when you are mourning, I am mourning too. And so on Sunday, I was so disappointed. I sent a message, a Mother's Day message, to every church. And I sent tags, Mother's Day tags, saying, Blessed Mother's Day from Palarep, to every church. When I got to Good Hope at 11 o'clock, I saw all those I sent to Good Hope on a table in a house. I was so disappointed because you, the people of Good Hope, did not get what I sent to you. So there was a disappointment. You got yours. But this is who I am. I have to reach you where you are. I can't go to every church to wish every mother Happy Mother's Day. So I sent you a tag from your Palarep Happy Mother's Day. So that's me speaking. And I sent a message. So let me apologize to the churches of Good Hope. Your message was sent. It's just that it was not delivered. And it was too late. And when you were there, I was on my way to church to San Sofia coming from Casablanca. But I did try my best to ensure that you got that card. But along the line, it did not work. But this is why I am here. To represent you through thick and thin, in good time and in bad time. Finally, somebody laughed. I got 2 cakes from my constituents for Mother's Day. They make cake for the people and they send one for me too. Just to show their love and appreciation for what I'm doing for them on Mother's Day. Very interesting. So thank you very much, you people of Good Hope. Thanks for your support. I have work to do for you. My work is not completed. But I will do it. And we will get there with your support. So those of you who are very harsh to me, so be it. Those of you who are very loving to me, thank you. But I am there to represent all of you. God bless you and I love you. Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on. Now we invite the Honourable Kenneth Daru, the Minister for Health and Environment, to give you an address. Let's bring him on, please.
Thank you very much, Honourable Drigo, Member of Parliament for the area, also doubling up as a chairperson. Want to receive Mother's Day cake. Let me begin by first recognizing the Honourable Prime Minister, my other cabinet colleagues present. I'm the member of the Minister for Economic Planning, among many other things, Minister for Education, and of course your very own Member of Parliament and Minister for Agriculture, Honourable Johnson Drigo. Let me also recognize the former Minister of Education in our audience, Miss Sonia Williams, a number of other important people, the media, and of course the beautiful residents of Good Hope, including my maiden boy, Honey. I saw he came forward. Yes, sir. Let me just say, first of all, thank you to your Member of Parliament for inviting me to Good Hope. As you're well aware, this is the continuation of a series of town hall meetings that your government has been having over the past few months, where the respective members of Parliament for each community, each constituency, would organize a town hall meeting. Of course, invite a few of his colleagues, a few minister colleagues that he feel are relevant to the area, and we would share information with you, would bring you the message from the government, and of course to share some love with you, and not only for you to hear from us, but also to hear from you, which is why I'm going to be very brief tonight, because I have 2 other speakers after me, including the Honourable Prime Minister, who, as the Member of Parliament hinted, have a lot of good news to share with you, the people of Good Hope. I'm sure you don't want to miss this. But also to give you enough time and sufficient time to hear from you. Because as Honourable Drigo also alluded to in his closing remarks, that he said that we are the government, we don't have all the resources. We also would not have all the ideas, we don't have all the answers. So we think it's important sometimes that we listen to the people that we represent, because very good ideas sometimes come from all parts of the country, including you, the ordinary residents of the Good Hope community. It's always a pleasure to be here, and again, as he said, that we started this journey together and we had a very close bond, supporting each other at our little local meetings, our block meetings, and I'm in familiar territory. In fact, every time I come here, I say that Good Hope and this area reminds me so much of my own community where I'm from, Piditsavan. Very vulnerable communities, and the people look alike, very good-looking people. Best-looking people in Dominica, I dare say. But very, as I said, very unfamiliar territory. The terrain, the people, in fact, there are quite a few family cousins, second, third, 10, 12 cousins here in the Good Hope, Piditsufres and Silver area. So I feel well at home here in this part of the country. Thank you very much. So I really want to thank you, as I said, for your warm welcome, every time my warm reception, every time I come to this area. And as I said, to let you know that it is going to be a two-way street where we're also looking forward to hear from you. And as I said, I saw my partner Honey come forward, so I'm sure he's going to add a lot of value to the meeting tonight. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to spend a few minutes just to give a brief account of my stewardship thus far as Minister of Health and the Environment. And of course, you cannot speak of health in these days without speaking of our new national hospital, which is well under construction. A hospital that I might add that the naysayers, the opposition said would never come. I would recall, we would recall rather, those of you who followed us during the last campaign would recall this really tremendous animation launched on the projector in St. Joseph a few days before the last election, and where everybody was all hyped up about our new hospital. Of course, a year or two passed, okay, we were in the planning stages trying to make sure that everything was going okay, and no work got started. So the opposition took it up and they said that it was a pie in the sky. They said that it was just an election gimmick, a political gimmick, okay, to fool Dominicans. And really, they never cease to amaze me, and I really I've tried to rack all the corners of my brain to try to understand why people who see their government in waiting, how they can be so negative. You know, instead of trying to be positive, you know, I mean, how can a hospital be something bad, people? I mean, how do you try to make political mileage out of something as important as people's health? So the hospital took a little time to start, have started. I'm sure you're well aware, $40 million US project, 108 million EC dollars, a gift from the People's Republic of China. I need to repeat, a gift, meaning that you, the Dominican public, you, the beautiful people of Good Hope, we don't have to pay back one black cent to repay, to build this state-of-the-art hospital. And I think this really deserves a round of applause we need to thank our Chinese counterparts, our Chinese friends for this very generous gift. And all of this, and again, I will go back to a few years back, even before I entered politics. We remember when we forged diplomatic relations with China. I mean, the very same opposition, they had so many things to say in Chinese scaremongering tactics to try to scare you, the beautiful people of Dominica, and also including Good Hope, into thinking that this relationship that we were forging with China, that so many bad things were going to happen, and then we are going to forge a relationship with communist China, and our children would be sent to the army, a whole lot of rubbish. Okay, like we call Betis in Patwa. What's it of Betis? Now we look, commerce, thank you. Now we see now the results of what this visionary move has borne us. Okay, just a few days ago we had Test match cricket, West Indies versus Pakistan, right here in our state-of-the-art stadium. We've seen the State College, the State House, the highway from Roseau all the way to Portsmouth. All of these generous gifts and soft loans given to us by the People's Republic of China, all because of the decision to move from Taiwan to the People's Republic of China, made by our very own Prime Minister years ago. So these things shouldn't be taken for granted, people, and we have to be reminded that all of this development that we see happening, it didn't just happen just like that, because there were other governments before this one. There were many other governments and administrations before this one. But you would have seen this massive, this thrust towards development only in the past decade and a half or so, because, as I said, of some of these very bold, and I say groundbreaking decisions that were taken by the Honourable Prime Minister at a very tender age of 40-something too, if I recall. So your new hospital is on the way, and those of you who would have been to the Princess Margaret Hospital, I'm sure if you pick through the galvanized fencing, you would have seen serious work being done there. Phase 1, which is set to be completed by August of September this year, will include your casualty, what they call the accident and emergency department, what we refer to as the casualty department, also the buildings to house what they call the ultrasound, and other equipment, imaging equipment, and should be ready for use by September of this year. Now, because of the peculiarity of this project, meaning that this project is being built on the existing site, and again, I have one of the topic of trying to explain why we went to the same site. Yes, the original thinking would have been to go to a new site because, of course, it's always easier to build, somewhere new. But as I said, the experts, both local, regional, and international advisors that we should do the hospital in and around the Roseau area, and of course, the existing site would have been the most suitable site. So whereas, as I said, the original thinking would have been to go to a new site, would have made things easier for everybody, we will advise, and contrary to popular belief, we do listen to advice from people we think that know better than us. So we went ahead of them. So because of the peculiarity of the project being built on the same site, we now have to do it in phases, meaning build temporary buildings, move the whatever we're going to demolish into this temporary building, build a permanent building, and then move back to the permanent building. So it's going to be done in different phases. And as I said, the first phase should be commissioned by the September this year, meaning your new casualty department completed MRI. A lot of you know what an MRI is. So that is something that you would have had to travel to Antigua or Barbados or Guadeloupe to do in the past, is now going to be done here. And a lot of, yes. And a number of other new state-of-the-art modern equipment befitting a new modern hospital is going to be part of this new modern, this multi-million-dollar project. So in addition to the new equipment, a new hospital, a new building, and the Chinese would have told us that the hospital will be completed within 30 months. And as I say everywhere I go, if we know the Chinese, when they tell you 30 months, by the 29 months and 29 days, you will have your project completed. So barring any unforeseen circumstances, act of nature, etc., and God forbid, we know that the Labour Party base and the people, especially the people of good hope who support the government, you are praying people, that we ask that you pray for good weather and that all goes well, and then this project will be completed in time. Because God knows that, and sometimes, we listen to people criticize the Princess Margaret Hospital, and sometimes I ask myself, what are they really saying? We are building a new hospital because we've recognized that the Princess Margaret Hospital has made its time, it's after time, which is why we're building a new hospital. So to go about taking pictures of the Princess Margaret Hospital falling apart and thing, I think this is just really malicious. We know that the hospital is falling apart. The hospital has been existed for a few decades now. Okay, a few decades now. We know it's falling apart, which is why we are building a new one. So I say all of this so that you, the intelligent people of the good hope community, and of course those listening, can know how to respond to some of these people when they come with their malicious tales and stories, so you can know how to respond to them. Hospital a fait time, c'est pour nous qu'a fait à l'hôpital neuf. Okay, so this really is not worthy of an answer. So in addition to the new hospital, a new building, and new and modern equipment, we would have also embarked on a very aggressive training program, where a number of our local doctors, and I always say when I speak to local doctors, this time people who will speak English, Patois, and Kokoi when necessary. Our own local doctors would be out there specializing. And as we speak, we have about a dozen or so of our local doctors specializing in a lot of exciting new specialties, oncology and geriatrics, that's to do with old people, nephrology, intensive care. So we are going to, in addition to having a new building, new equipment, we're also going to have a full cadre of local doctors, trained overseas, of course, in new exciting specialties. Meaning that we're not saying that everything will be taken care of here in Dominica, but the need to travel overseas like we have right now will be less and less. And of course, the plan is that as we go further, we'll continue adding new and new specialties and new services to the Princess Margaret Hospital. So by the end of by the time our hospital is built, people, what we're going to see the need to travel less and less to overseas. Because the Prime Minister is here, and then he will tell you, through the public support program, what they call a red clinic. And they can call it any color we want. It's okay with the red clinic. I'm glad the red clinic exists, and I'll tell you why a bit later. That through the public support program, what they call a red clinic, the number of people, that would have been assisted to travel overseas. And as I say every year, we make no apologies for helping our people. And the people who want to call you all kind of names because your government is reaching out to you, tell them I say will and come again. And you're the people who support the administration, or those who do not support us. You don't have to feel ashamed in accepting and assistance from our government. Because as I said in Portsmouth, this is a democratic government by the people, of the people, and for the people. And if you, the people, who form part of the government, cannot benefit from the country resources, what kind of government is that? Okay, what kind of government is this? So as I said, we make no apologies for helping you for all the various assistance programs that your parents spoke about, and the number of the exciting programs that we have ongoing to assist you, especially the more marginalized group of Dominica. So we make no apologies, and you should make no apologies, no explanation when your government, your member of parliament, who is rightfully voted, reaches out to you to assist you. You receive it gracefully, okay? Yep. So in addition to the new hospital, and I'm sure those of you who would have visited private doctors, etc., and even when you access the public health service, and then you are sent to buy a medication or to do a test that's not available at the hospital or within the public health sector, you will know that medical care is very expensive. Okay, sometimes you have to pay to go see the doctor, then you have to now pay to go do the test, you have to now pay to bring back the test for him, you have to pay again for him to read the test, and we know how expensive this can be. And not many of us in Dominica can afford what they call the conventional health insurance policies, because, I mean, these policies, they cost quite a bit. Now, over the past decades or so, a number of countries, in fact, all countries around the world would be talking about what they call universal health coverage and talking about national health insurance policies. Now, what does this mean? It means that this program is to cover everybody, especially those of us who cannot afford what they call the everyday health insurance and through the conventional health insurance or medical insurance schemes. So what your government would have done, we would have stopped the talking and start the walking, meaning that decades, when I took up the reins as the Minister of Health, I can tell you as to volumes and volumes of material and studies and everything being done as it pertains to a national health insurance policy. But it had to take this administration and your forward-thinking, visionary Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, to start what they call a pilot program, where $5 million have been put into a fund to assist the very first group, which would be women 35 years and older, and children 3 years and below. So that means from now on, anybody, any mother who are 35 years and below and children 3 years and over, that they qualified for whatever sort of assistance they need health-wise, whether locally, regionally, or internationally. And tell me if this is not a government that's working for you. And again, as I said, we make no apologies for these programs. So the idea, as I said, is a pilot program, meaning that we recognize that there are many different vulnerable groups. So we, on advice again, we will advise that this is the most vulnerable group, which is why we started with that particular group. And the plan is that we continue to add other vulnerable groups as we go along. Of course, it's a pilot program. There will be little difficulties. We're hoping that we'll learn from our mistakes, better the program, and continue adding other groups. Mr. PM, I hope the second will be single fathers like myself. Okay? God knows I need it. Okay? So pretty soon. But the idea and the plan, of course, is that the vision is that within the next few years, that each and every Dominican will be covered. In other words, it shouldn't be a case of where, as exists now, and while the Prime Minister's office and what they call the Red Clinic, we've tried our best to reach out to everybody who comes to us for assistance. But of course, we know we have a limitation of funds, and not every time the resources are available. But with this program, each and everybody who needs the assistance will qualify, and we will qualify for the assistance and will be covered. Because there's no sense, in fact, it would be almost futile to have a pretty multi-million-dollar building and state-of-the-art equipment and specialists falling over each other at the hospital and all of this. And then the average Joe farmer from Good Hope up in itself and cannot access these services. So your government is now making provision that each and everybody, ranging from big ministers like your Honourable Johnson Drigo to anybody in any rural farmer, will be able to have equal access to these health services. So when you hear people talking the nonsense like Dominica is the worst Dominica health system, or Dominica is the worst country on earth, tell them I say will and come again. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. I mean, I'm not going to mention them. Just today, Mr. PM, a young lady came all the way from St. Thomas to me, where she had the first surgery done. And then I think the surgeon forgot a whole lot of staples, metal staples. And now she's coming to us now to get assistance to have the surgery to correct this mistake done right here in Dominica. And I work as a district medical officer, and I can tell you the number of people who would come from England. They would actually leave to come here when the checkup is due, because they will tell you the long hours and the days they have to wait months before they can access a service in England, unless, of course, they were owners of these sometimes multi-million-dollar insurance policies. So these are the little things, people, that we are taking for granted here in Dominica that you have to learn to appreciate. And hence the purpose of this town hall meeting, so we can educate you and you can begin to appreciate, while the opposition is out there talking their nonsense, these little things are what cost big money overseas. So we will continue to add the vulnerable groups, as I said, until everybody is covered. Within the Ministry of Health, we have, so your new hospital, as I said, will be complete in 30 months' time, and I'm sure the commission of this new hospital, that each and every one of you, supporter or not, will converge on Roseau, okay, to have this massive celebration in what I promised you, and I'm sure the Prime Minister will agree and everybody will agree, to be perhaps government's most important project yet, because of the importance of health. Because no matter who we are, what strata of society we're in, health is something that affects each and every one of us. Okay? So within the Ministry of Health, your government would have also have a number of other exciting initiatives geared towards assisting the everyday man and woman. I'm sure a number of you would have been screened and chosen or selected or identified for surgery under what they call the miracle mission by the Venezuelans. And as we speak, the Venezuelans would have already started the first phase of surgical interventions as it pertains to people suffering from cataracts and pterygiums, etc. So if your health district is not covered, just rest assured, stay tuned to your radio for your parlor. You'll be notified. Those of you who would have been selected, you will know when you should head to Roseau to have your surgery done. I can see clearly now, again, another initiative of the Prime Minister, where we recognize that a lot of our school children or children attending school, some of them, a few of them don't do well, and it's not because they cannot learn, as we say in local parlance. Okay, but in retrospect, afterwards, we realized that they would have had visions, okay, problems seeing the board, etc. So recognizing that, we would have launched a very aggressive program to ensure that all children attending school, both primary and secondary school, those requiring glasses or any other intervention, would have been attended to ensure that everybody receives an equal chance. They start at a level playing field. And already this program, a number of our primary school students and secondary school students would have received a free pair of new spectacles, complement the government of Dominica, and any other intervention that is necessary would be covered under this program. We are also embarking on the new Marigot Hospital. Yes, I said it, the new Marigot Hospital, which is something that has always been on the cards of this Labour Party administration. And those of you I know who follow politics, and I know a lot of you in good hope, okay, you will work with the manifesto. You can come back to our manifesto, where we said that the new Marigot Hospital has always been part of a Labour Party administration. So when you hear people ranting and raving and foaming at the mouth, etc., talking about victimization, okay, we want to let you know differently that from 2 years in running, we would have had monies budgeted for the new Marigot Hospital. However, a lot of circumstances happen, people. We have to understand that a lot happened, especially tropical South America. And while moving around the country, it's very hard sometimes to remember that Erica happened because of the work that this administration has done and the fast pace of recovery efforts. Erica did happen, people. Erica happened. And Honourable Drigo told us it cost us it left us with $1.4 billion in damages. Almost 100% of our GDP washed away within just 4 hours. So we cannot ignore the fact that Erica didn't happen. And a number of the programs that we had as priority would have had to wait a bit until we reach a certain stage of recovery, which is where we are right now. So we have begun to refocus on the Marigot Hospital. And I can tell you, because I said a number of other speakers after me, that we are well on the way into starting construction of this new Marigot Hospital within the next few months. Again, I need to let you know that this is a gift from the Mexican government of 15 million EC dollars. So when you hear a lot of the opposition talking about this is an administration that nobody wants to deal with, okay? I spoke to you as to the amount of money that China has invested. Now here you have Mexico giving us another 15 million EC dollars. Venezuela, Cuba continuing to assist us. And Honourable Drago spoke to the World Bank project that is currently undergoing. A number of regional and international institutions continue to trust this administration because of our fiscal prudence. And also, you would have heard a number of us speak, I'm sure of you listen to news, another 50 million pound project set to take care of the road from Lube all the way back to Bagatelle to deal with all of the major issues we had there, especially post-tropical South America. So you need to know these things, so when the people come talking, commerce to us, we know how to answer them. So I want to let you know, Honourable Drigo in closing spoke as to the VRP project. And Honourable Drago is right. This is a project that has been where funds were approved almost 4 years ago, and where this part of the country, the southeast of the country, was the part set to benefit the most from this project. However, recognizing sometimes the long drawn-out processes and the long time that this international and even regional institutions, the time it takes before the money actually gets to us to actually do project, Honourable Drago doesn't sleep on him. And I really need to highlight the work of Honourable Drigo. You have a very extremely hard-working pal rep. And he told you, and he and the Prime Minister and Cabinet, okay, they told me, boss, we cannot wait on the DVRP money, which is a project within my ministry, by the way. They told me, no, we cannot wait for this DVRP money because as we speak, we are entering another hurricane season. So a lot of these urgent interventions had to be done. So Honourable Drigo and the PM, they couldn't wait for the DVRP money, so they had to go ahead now and use local sources, local funding now to do a number of these interventions. But rest assured, we are very close to signing the contracts for a lot of other important, urgent, what they call immediate attentions, all the way from the Castle Junction to Piditufria with 4 million EC dollars. Okay, yes, sir, we are aware of that. Okay, and I have all people coming from Piditsavan will know the importance of some of these interventions, because we recognize that a lot of these intervention involve, for example, the replacement of culverts, cliff stabilization, etc. Because we realize that a lot of these waterways, the culverts, etc., they would be decades. Some of them would have been built since we were a colony. So with the advent of climate change, some of these have become almost obsolete and almost useless. So a lot of these have to be replaced, stabilized, some cliffs, etc. But rest assured that while Drago and the PM would have gone ahead and done some, okay, that most of the other interventions would be done. And as I said, you shouldn't take the hard work and this little intervention just for granted. It's because of the intervention of your Member of Parliament and, of course, the thoughtfulness and generosity of the Honourable Minister of Finance. And my cabinet colleagues here will tell you that every now and then, I think the PM myself will tell John, the boss, you have to take a little time to breathe, boss. Take a little time to relax. You understand me? Yeah, it's true. John Doe is everywhere at the same time. Everywhere at the same time. I remember when I used to go to Sunday school, Mr. PM, there was a word for it, omnipresent. I think it's called omnipresent. Where they said God is omnipresent everywhere at the same time. John Doe, you cannot be omnipresent. And we tell him every now and then, boss, take a little time for yourself. Take time to exhale. Take time to breathe. Take time to take care of yourself also. But that is the level of dedication that this Member of Parliament that you have in Johnson Drigo have, and the love towards his people. In fact, driving up here, I remember telling I'm sure Miss Williams, we had this joke about Drigo. I think the first SUV he had at once. I was in the area. And actually, Sir Johnson Drigo, we believes Mr. PM on his SUV. Believes packed on the back seat of his SUV, No, this is the level of love, I said, and dedication. So you can say what you want about this man, but you cannot complain about his effort and his dedication and his love for his people. So as he did, and I will also ask you, I need you to continue to work with him. Yes, we can point out and be disappointed about our area would not have received attention, and we need to point out, hence the purpose of this meeting, point out the areas that need attention, but you shouldn't take for granted and you shouldn't not commend him for the work that he has already done. Because, okay, so the criticism towards us politicians is part of our life, and we take it in good faith with a grain of salt, as they say. But it also, I just need to let you know, the commendations are also equally important to encourage him to continue to do the work for his people. So once again, as I said, then again, he is part of the Labour Party family, and we have shown that people are our focus, and all of these programs that we have been funded by the CBI, which I'm sure the PM and others after me will speak to in more detail. All of these lovely programs that we have geared towards people. That yes, we get a washroom program, a program that the UWP opposition laughed at, including the man who wanted to represent you at the last election. They laughed at it. And I worked as a district medical officer, and I will tell you that the washroom and outside toilet, that they call a pit latrine, is no laughing matter, people. You know, and then when we would be doing this home visit and visiting the home of these people who cannot walk to the outside toilet, and sometimes to find the conditions they were in, they would have been at the mercy of a neighbor who would pass by maybe every 2 days to clean them up, you know, the number one and number two that they do. So I can tell you from a personal point of view what it means to these people. So right now they can take a little walker and make 2 hops to a proper washroom facility. So while it might sound or look like a very lowly, a very modest project, the joy and the comfort and the dignity it brings to some of our people, especially those in their twilight years, shouldn't be taken for granted. And I want to commend the Prime Minister for this initiative. So we will continue to do everything, as I said, the over 70 years, which we refer to, well, the proper word, I think, term is a non-contributory pension allowance. We call it over 70, the $300, again, not to be taken for granted, because these are people who would have made their contributions, who would have built the Castle Bruce to Pilito Freer Road with pickaxes and wheelbarrows and spades. But because they were not part of any structured employment program, somehow they got lost, they fell through the cracks, and there's nobody there for them, especially those where the children did not play their part and take care of them. And rest ahead, some of them would have given birth to people who are doctors, lawyers, big shot lawyers, doctors, overseas, talking a whole lot of nonsense. I was about to say a bad word, sorry, Mr. PM. Talking a whole lot of nonsense on Facebook and other social media now. And they left their parents to the mercies of this administration. And thank God. And thank God that, as I said, that this is the hallmark of this administration, where we care for people. And Mr. PM, I can tell you on behalf of my constituents, on behalf of the General, the rest of Dominica by extension, I want to thank you for some of these initiatives, because you would have made some of our people, especially the elderly people who would have made their contribution, lives much easier. So in closing, I want to ask you to continue to pray, to support your PAL rep, to pray for him. As I said, I know a lot of you are very prayer warriors. I want you to continue to pray for the success of the CBI program, the much talked about CBI program. Rest assured, people, without the CBI program, you see all of these wonderful things that John was talking about, and the Prime Minister, I'm sure, is going to make some wonderful commitments to you tonight. Without the CBI program, none of these things would be possible. And they can say what they want, they can jump by, they can jump low. All of this is due to the CBI program. Because after Erika, where we had to find $1.4 billion $1.4 billion to build back Dominica, we thank God that there was a program that's not taking any toll. That doesn't mean that you have to pay any taxes, you don't have to, nothing else. We didn't ask the civil servants to sacrifice anything after Erika. Yes, we continue to even do more than we were doing before Erika, thanks to the CBI. So all of this nonsense they're doing, including the February 7th riot, that they try to isolate themselves from or distance themselves from. It wasn't. It was planned. It was part of their plan. But tell them that Dr. Daru and the rest of the cabinet say there's only one way that this administration is going to leave office. If you, the people, decide that you're going to vote us out. And I know that there's no way, especially with this wonderful program that we are rolling out, where you are benefiting from your government and your country resources. There's no way. And I say no way, I say this is the utmost confidence that you, the people of Good Hope and Dominica by extension, are going to get rid of this government and put in whatever is the alternative. So tell them, no backdoor way to come through. There's no backdoor way. There's one way at the ballot. And this is where we're strong, okay? And John who said every year we would have seen this strength. He is growing in this community and the constituency by extension because of the wonderful work and love for his people. So continue praying for us, and we will continue to do what we have to do for you with no regrets. And as I said, I have no doubt that when the time comes that the kindness that we are extending to you, that you will also repay us with that very same kindness. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Daru. I want to recognize in a very special way our family nurse practitioners, veteran vigilance, put our hand together for us. Welcome, nurse. And I also want to recognize in a very special way the National Director of the Public Support Program, Mr. Austin Lockhart, right there, who is here with us, and so on. Welcome. I want to call now to address us, in order to keep with time, the Honourable Peter Seja, the Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, to address us. Let's bring him on, please.
Thank you very much, my good friend Jono. Let me first of all recognize the presence of the Honourable Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, your Prime Minister and my Prime Minister. I wish also to recognize the Honourable Parliamentary Representative for the Castlebrooks constituency, your beloved Pal Rep Jono. We have with us Dr. Drago, the Minister for Health, who just delivered, and Dr. Colin McIntyre. I wish also to recognize the Chair of the Village Council and other councillors here present, other distinguished pastor, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, and of course, you, the good people of Good Hope. Thank you very much for inviting me to share with you tonight, and of course to hear from you. Let me begin, first of all, by commending you, the people of Good Hope. My son and I were driving up, and Teacher Sonia was with us, and we were in a brief discussion, and we concluded that Good Hope per capita has the highest number of churches in Dominica. Very small community, but every 7th building in Good Hope is a church. So it means that you are a God-fearing people, and your community is well named. No wonder it is called Good Hope. We understand how long you have been praying. You've been praying for a very, very long time. But thank God, God hears the prayer of the righteous. And when he hears, he answers. So today, after all the decades of prayer, God is finally answering the prayers of Good Hope. Let me also say to you, by now, most of you would have heard the opposition saying that elections will be sometime in the month of August. Most of you would have heard that by now. In fact, they said it was May, and then they said August. But let me ask you one question. Have you ever wondered, asked yourself, why is the opposition saying that election was in May and is supposed to be in August? Well, you know, I pondered on that. And just in case some of you still don't understand why they're saying that, let me say to you that it is the first time in the political history of Dominica that a government is doing so much in so short a space of time. Because normally we are accustomed here in Dominica, c'est l'élection ka vini, gouvernement ka fait bagay. But then you see the number of programs that are being implemented. The Yes We Care, the NEP, the non-contributory pension allowance, you see the national health insurance, and so they must believe that election is coming. It is the first time that government ministers, a prime minister, your government is in touch with the people on such a regular basis. Because in the past, governments go out to people only when election is coming. So somehow they believe that election is coming. But let me tell you, not just that, the number of projects that we are undertaking, bridge construction, housing development, new schools, road construction and rehabilitation, your washroom program. Well, of course, they must believe election is coming. But for the Labour Party administration led by your Prime Minister, this is just a normal thing for us. Because we are always with the people, because we are government for the people. And you, the good people of Good Hope, that's why we are here tonight. But let me say to you that we believe as a government that in order to have a strong economy, every community across Dominica, whether it depends on agriculture, as is the case in Good Hope, or fishing, as is the case in San Sauve, or whether it depends on tourism services, that each and every small community in our country must be given the means and the opportunity in order for them to develop and to contribute to national development, and Good Hope is no exception. Now, you will recall a few years ago, driving from Castlebruce to Good Hope, it would have taken you almost 1 hour to get to Good Hope. Of course, some of you are not old enough to remember that. When you had those river stones on the road and you had to be shooting stones here and there as you drove. You remember the poor state of your roads. Now, while we recognize that the terrain of our country, and more so, the terrain in communities like Good Hope and Petite Savanne, that they are a hindrance to the rapid development of your communities, friends, there can be no excuse for the kind of neglect that you, the people of Good Hope, have suffered over the years. And that is why this administration, led by our Prime Minister, has taken a conscious decision to ensure that we address the needs of communities like Good Hope, because you have suffered for too long. That is why, over the last 15 or so years, your government has sought to address the issues that confront the people of Good Hope, the people of Chonto, and the people of Deepa, who have been neglected by previous administrations. While, of course, it is true that all it takes in Good Hope and San Sauve is one heavy shower from a major landslide which will cut off your roads and cut off the area completely. Good Hope must have a proper road network. We cannot deny the people of Good Hope this. Good Hope must have adequate housing, and the people of Good Hope must have a PAL rep who can work towards achieving that you get just that. So that is why I heard you say tonight, Jono is welcome, but one is not. So you, the good people of Good Hope, Chonto, Deepa, I think you need to embrace your PAL rep, because let me tell you this about Jono. If there is a man who probably has too much energy in the cabinet of Dominica, it is your PAL rep, Jono. Jono never rests. He never sits. He's always ready to get what he wants. And so, friends, it cannot be right for the people who wish to lead you at the highest level in government to come here in Good Hope, Chonto, and Deepa only when there is a domino match, or only when there is a disaster and somebody has to call them to tell them, Keshoy Fet a Good Hope, and they ask you where. You need people who will address your problems, not individuals who will come and tell you your problems and they cannot offer you a solution to your problem. And that is why I believe personally that Jono is the right man for you in this time and in this hour. We don't want people to come into Good Hope and tell Mr. Cecil that he needs a job. We want a PAL rep who will find a job for Cecil, give Cecil to construct the houses, and ensure that Cecil can take care of his family. We don't want a person who will come and tell you that Ma Melina needs to repair her house and cannot offer Ma Melina a way out to repair her house. We want a pal rep, when he goes to Ma Melina's home, will tell Ma Melina, pontan, me manque wange kayubao. And after 2 months, that pal rep will send a contractor. He will ensure that Ma Melina's house is well repaired and Ma Melina doesn't have to go under a tree to relieve herself. That is what representation is all about. And friends, that is what your Honourable Johnson Drigo, your pal rep, your government have been doing every day, every Thursday. So when you see Jono, you see Roosevelt Skerrit. When you see Jono, you see Peter St. Jean. When you see Jono, you see the government of Dominica. Because every day, every Tuesday, every Sunday, Jono is in Lapawi. And you see Jono in Cochrane. And you see Jono in Sweet Home. And when Jono promised the people of Lapawi, Cochrane, and Sweet Home, Jono delivers to the people. That is what we want in leadership. You heard your pal rep speak, you know. He spoke to the issues that to him are of utmost importance. Agriculture, education, safety and security of the people of Good Hope. When last did the others come here and speak to those issues? So can we tell the people of Good Hope, mette Jono ate avec vote ba on lot moun? So we are standing strong with your pal rep Jono. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we know you, the people of Good Hope, you have stood with Jono, and that is why Jono will stand with you. And he articulated very clearly, and I won't go into much detail, the educational needs of your children. Let me say to you, in the past, there was a very high incidence of children not attending school in Good Hope. And you know the reasons why. Of course, the school all the way in Saint-Sauveur, and children had to walk to get to school. But today, because of the representation of your pal rep Jono, I have been advised by my ministry that the high incidence of children not attending school in Good Hope is a thing of the past. I'm being advised that contrary to what happened before, that the children of Good Hope are performing very well in the national assessment examinations. So while we're on this issue, on the issue of access, let me say to you that at the primary level, we have here in Good Hope right now pretty close to 100% access and attendance by the children of Good Hope, which is a plus for you. It means that you, the parents of Good Hope, you are doing what you are supposed to do. But here your pal rep, he still expects you to do more, because your children are your responsibility. And while pal rep Jono has to ensure that the school has chalk, and that he has the mentors in place to work with your children, it is your responsibility as a parent, as an adult in Good Hope, Toronto, and deeper, to ensure that the children are at school and that they stay in school. You give them the necessary support at home. Let me say to you, we will ensure that there is quality instruction in the classroom. We will ensure that our teachers are trained, well trained. We will provide the supplies to the students, and Jono is one of the pal reps at the commencement of every school year during the August holiday. I am fed up with Jono at the Ministry of Education. I was happy when he became Minister for Agriculture. So I said, well, voila, Jono will remain in the Ministry of Agriculture and on the farms. But the truth is, he does that successfully until August comes around. In fact, he was one of the first pal reps who designed a nice system of providing uniforms for your children. Jono was able to check a seamstress or seamstresses in his area, and rather than send all the money into Roseau, at Astor Funds and our Continental store, He got them to make the uniforms so the money would stay in the local economy. We will ensure the school feeding program is continued so that your children don't have to walk back to Toronto and Deeper and Good Hope. We will ensure that we engage the education mentors. We will provide transportation for your children to and from school, because gone are the days where your children should be languishing on the side of the road waiting to bomb a ride, and heaven knows what happens to your 12-year-old daughter. But friends, as I speak about transportation, let me just quickly tell you, and your pal rep alluded to that. Here in Good Hope, we have 24 secondary school students. Now, you remember the days when a number of these children would miss school on a regular basis because it rains constantly here. They had difficulty getting to the Castlebrook Secondary School. But today, they had no breakfast. But today, your government, your pal rep, ensures that every child gets to school on time, gets to school every day, and gets from school to home on time without any mishaps on the road. But have you ever thought, where does that money come from? You remember you had 3 children, one at State College. Selena has 3 children, one at State College, one at the secondary school, one at primary school. And you had to pay every month for your child to get to secondary school in Castlebrook. You paid $57 and $60 every month. And for the children who went to Roseau, you paid $120. And those at primary school had to walk to get to school. And they got there late. And they were hungry. So most times, when you thought they were in school, they were somewhere by the sea, breaking zaman. But today, your government, your parliamentary representative ensures that the primary children, for each one of those children, the Ministry of Education, the Labour Party government, pays $38 a month to get to school. Primary school. The secondary school children, every month, the Labour Party administration, your pal Rep Jono, ensures that we pay $57 every month for every child. And for those in Roseau, we pay $120. So, Miss Selena, the 3 children that you have, 1 primary, 1 secondary, and 1 at the State College, the government of Dominica, the Labour Party administration, every month we spend $217 to ensure that your child gets to school. So that is $217 that stays in your pocket. You can pay your light bill, perm your hair, and top up your food. But ladies and gentlemen, a few years ago, and I know Good Hope very well because you remember me coming here every other Sunday, and my dear sister Durand, she will remember every other Sunday I would come there to help Brother Lawrence in the Pentecostal church in Good Hope. So I'm no stranger to Good Hope, and that's why I know all the people who I was just calling. You remember, just a few years ago, 57% of the children between 3 and 5 years in Good Hope did not attended preschool. In other words, if you had 100 children 3 to 5 years, only 57 of them attended preschool, or what we call early childhood development centers. What was the reason for that? Because most of you are farmers, and you have to go to your farms. The single parents, you have to go do something to assist your child. And you did not have the money to pay the preschool teacher, who of course has to earn her living. And you had to pay $40 every month, and heaven knows where you would get that money. What we did, we ensured that we worked with the community, we expanded the school, and in fact, right now, in Petit Soufriere, we have a state-of-the-art early childhood facility. And of course, my good friend Ostel is aware of that. Here in Good Hope, we have a preschool, an early childhood facility. We recognize that we need to do some upgrades, but importantly, what we did, we started by providing financial support to the preschool teacher, what we call a subvention. We pay between $1,500 and $2,500 to every preschool in Dominica and daycare or nursery that meet the standards. Well, of course, Good Hope is smaller. So you would have a smaller population, so your preschool teacher would get $1,500 every semester, every term, to assist in taking care of the needs of the children. We also ensured that we worked with the community, and that is important. We upgraded the facilities. We ensured compliance with the provisions of the regulations so that the school meets certain standards. And we worked with you, the parents, educate you on the importance of early childhood development. And we encourage you to participate in the various programs, because we recognize in order for us to have strong communities, in order for us to have good students at the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary level, so your students can go to the Dominica State College, it is important for us to lay a solid foundation. And that is done at the early childhood, or what we call the preschool level. But maybe even more important than that, just think back with me, just for a minute. Do you remember 15 years ago, how many of the young people here in Good Hope attended the Dominica State College? If any of them, very few. Today, every young person who completes high school has the opportunity to attend the Dominica State College. And friends, that is why I want to say to you, good things are happening in Good Hope. Therefore, les bons, dis bon, avec si bon, parlez. Of course, in the interest of time, I want to end, but let me say to you before I end. There are many of you here who are farmers. I know cow is not a common feature in our environment. Cows are not common. But you would know, those of you who took care of cows before, and just help me to enlighten the younger ones. There is a particular fly that likes to stay on cattle. It's called the horse fly. How many of you know that? The horse fly. Okay, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Nou ka kouye mouche millet ou bien mouche cheval. Yeah, some communities call it mouche millet, and some people call it mouche cheval. Now, an old lady told me, le on mouche cheval derrière ou. Mouche la di maman, tout temps couille pa cassé, il pa ka viwe la case. Il pa ka viwe la case. So I said to her, mais ça vle di. And she said to me, haven't you noticed that unless you kill the fly, it won't leave you? Well, I swear I'm of lady. Sel bagay monsa di jono même kon c'est un mouche cheval. Le jono di ou il le keshoy ba Cassibrus, il le keshoy ba Chonto Dipa ou bien Good Hope. Tout un jono pa tape, jono pa ka sorti en le do. And ladies and gentlemen, people of Good Hope, that is the kind of pal rep that you have tonight. A man filled with energy, but not just here, but when he gets on the back of the Prime Minister, when he gets on the back of the Health Minister or the Education Minister, tout un tête clipoko fan avec saivle, Jono Paka give up. So please, I want to say to you, hold to that which is good and never let go. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brother Peter. And you know, Brother Peter has been with me through it all. I think we are running late, so ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for, the person you wanted to hear for a while, I bring to you at this moment Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, to address you. Let's bring him on.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here in Good Hope this evening. But let me, first of all, recognize in our midst my colleagues and friends, Honourable Dr. Drago, who is the Minister for Health, Honourable Dr. McIntyre, our Minister for Economic Planning, Honourable Peter Senja, our Minister for Education. Let me also recognize the Chairman of the Good Hope Village Council, Mr. Guilford Laurel, and other councillors. Our dear Pastor, Pastor Lawson, who prayed for us so dutifully this evening. And those Vigilant, who is here with us. And of course, friends and family of Good Hope. And in a special way also, our dear Pal Rep and the Minister for Agriculture, Honourable Johnson Drigo. I have been coming to Good Hope for a very long time now. As a matter of fact, on a continuous basis since 1998. And when we came into office, every one of us here would agree that every single road in Good Hope was in a terrible shape. And every road that has been done in Good Hope has been done while Roosevelt Skerritt has been Prime Minister of Dominica. Every single one of them. And coming down this main road was rough. Going up was even worse. If you want to go down to the bay and the crossing, was a headache. Buses didn't want to go down there. Don't even talk about going up to where Mr. Guilford Laurel lives and so forth. Every single part of Good Hope. And I recall coming and going to my dear friend Margrove's home, having to walk from the main road all the way to her home. It was very difficult to get there. And I recall having to walk from there in a track, muddy track, and fearing that you would fall because the soil there is clay, you know, and it's very slippery. And today I went there, and you have a major roadway in that area there, in the Cochrane area. And I think if we are to give praise and thanks to one person in Good Hope for that road, would be Margrove, who always came to the town hall meetings. Always come to a town hall meeting. And the only time she would miss a town hall meeting or meeting like this is if she was out of state. But she'll always come and make her case about the street lights and the roads and so forth, and she always dutifully made that representation. But I was very happy for the residents of Cochrane because it has allowed for greater access, improved access to your homes. It has increased the value of your properties. And for the senior citizens and for the school children, you know, it has certainly made life better for all of you. And we must thank God for those things, you know. And of course, I said to Parliament that we need to put the street lights and ensure that we can light up the place and make it even more safer for our people of Good Hope. But I'm here, I'm very happy to be here this evening. And as you know, we started in February with a series of town hall meetings because we believe in the government. And I believe as the Prime Minister of this country and the leader of the political party, Dominica Labour Party, that representation is about people. It is about listening to the people. It's about reporting to the people, letting the people know what the government, what the Pal Rep is doing for and behalf of the people. But also, very importantly, to hear from you, because you're the ones who reside in Good Hope. You're the ones who reside in the various communities. You know what life is better than me. You know how things are because you are the ones who are in the kitchen, so to speak. And when we hear from you, we're able to better represent your interests and to make life better for you, the residents of Good Hope. So for example, I have been to about 16 constituencies since February, being part of the town hall meetings. Tomorrow night I'll be in Rosenhof speaking to the residents of Rosenhof, telling them what the government has been doing for them, hearing from them their struggles and their tribulations, and to see how we can work together to make life better for our people. We're not here to preach disunity. We're not here to preach discord. We're not here to tell you to go and stone people or to curse people. We're here about positivity. You've heard from Drago, you've heard from Dr. Dari, you've heard from Mr. Not one negative word we have uttered here tonight. It is all about you, the people of Good Hope. You, the people of Dominica, and what we are doing for you and what we like to do with you to make life better for your children and for ourselves as families. That's what we're about. Unlike other people who, whenever you hear them speak, it's about negative things. It's about destruction. This should not be a way of life for people. There'll always be politics, my dear brothers and sisters. Always will be political parties. But we should not be always in a party color business and politics and everything else. Because when you do these things on a regular basis, when these things consumes you, it causes you to hate, it causes you to preach disunity, it builds your blood pressure, you get heart attack, you get sick, diabetes. I mean, my friend, I keep telling people, this job which I have is not an easy job. It's a very difficult job. You get criticized every day. But I thank God that I don't allow these things to cause me to change who I am. I am here on a mission. As long as the good Lord and the people of this country would like me to be the Prime Minister of this country, I shall accept. When they tell me to go, I shall go home. But we have to set aside these party colors and look at our country. We must always speak positively about our country. We must always speak positively about our country and do constructive things for our country. Because what do we want to bequeath to our children? Whatever you do, you shall reap. I mean, this is biblically. Whatever you sow, you shall reap. So if you sow discord and disunity and destruction, my friend, down the road, you shall inherit that. So we have to decide as a people in our country, as residents of Good Hope, where do we want to stand on the side of history? They'll all day, I am not a pastor, I'll leave it to our dear pastor and the other priests and so on. Although I say after the politics I want to open a church and have the biggest church in Dominica. Because I am targeting non-church goers, which is in the majority in Dominica and so forth. Because many of you don't go to church, you have to go to church, That we have to answer eventually. You see, and when people put themselves forward, you vote for people based on your views as to who will do a better job for you. And if Mr. Drigo, Honourable Drigo, is doing a good job for you, then you must keep him. If you agree that from when Jono came to now the community is better, then what's the issue? What's the issue? Because those whom some of us may have placed our trust and confidence in were not really interested in you. They were not really interested in you because you don't see them. And anytime you see them or you hear them, it's about negative things, destruction. Never about, my friend, how is life? What can I do to help you? How is your community? How is the farm? Are you selling your stuff? Can I help you? It's nothing about this. It's about destruction and so on. So I am here, my friends, to tell you that this government is about positivity. Working hard under difficult circumstances to make life better for you, the residents of Good Hope, and by extension, Dominica. I'm here this evening to speak to you, specifically the residents of Good Hope. So the rest of the constituency, listen to me. Please do not take offense or do not think that you've been left out. I'm here in Good Hope specifically. When we come to your communities, we'll talk to you about your own development. But I would like to make certain commitments to you, the residents of Good Hope. I have received a list for home repairs in Good Hope, and the total cost of these home repairs is about $785,000. That would include material costs and also labor costs. Because I have said to the parents, it makes no sense we give building materials to somebody knowing full well that person doesn't have the means of paying the laborer or the contractor to do it. So if we're going to do a job for a senior citizen, let us do the complete job and do it properly. So out of the 785,000, I am committing tonight to make available to you, the resident of Good Hope, immediately $400,000 to go to home repairs for good. And I give you the assurance that after the passage of the 2017-2018 budget, the balance will be made available to you to complete the $785,000. You know, you're hardworking farmers. And I was saying to the cabinet on Tuesday that the farmers of Good Hope are hardworking people. You know, man as well as woman. Working hard, climbing these mountain tops, your back against the sun, very hardworking people. And we have to help you, the farmers of Good Hope. And so I am committing to you, the community of Good Hope, $200,000 for small business development, but I want from that $200,000, $100,000 to go to the farmers of Good Hope. To provide you with the support you need to continue to farm, to continue to cultivate, and to make a better way of life for your families and for your children. We have a list provided by the PALREP of 45 people in Good Hope requiring washrooms. 45. And let me tell you something. There is no prime minister or no president in the world who pays attention to details like this, where a prime minister has in his office, on his desk, the list of every single person in Dominica who needs a washroom. Every single person. Because that's the care and attention which we place on people. Knowing people that irrespective of who you are, we're not interested in your color. We're not interested in your religious background and affiliation. Everybody in Good Hope, irrespective of who you're supporting or who you supported, you will be given a washroom like we're doing in the rest of the country. So we gave you the first 20, and we're now approving the balance, the 25 required, so everybody will have a washroom in Good Hope, ladies and gentlemen. And Dr. Drago quite rightfully spoke in disgust and disdain at those who are criticizing this program. I went to a village and I met a family there. The lady is 83 years old and she has a broken arm. 83 years old, have a broken arm. And if you see where the lady had to literally walk on a fall to get to that toilet, because with pit latrine you can't put it close to the house. There has to be a distance. So the lady's house down on the flat and the pit latrine up on the hill. Muddy track. And poor lady went up there one night and coming back, fell and broke her arm at 83 years old. And you have people, because of politics, because they do not like Skerrit and they do not like Labour criticizing that program. I mean, how can we go to bed and sleep and say that we're praising God, we know the Bible, we are Christians, we're a Christian nation? This should not be a political issue of a government helping people who cannot help themselves. And let me tell you, my friends, I have said to people, I came into politics to serve the people. I left a job and a scholarship to go to the United States to study, to get my PhD, to come into politics. So I have made sacrifices. I'm not looking for a job. I wasn't looking for a job when I came into politics. Dr. Drago wasn't looking for a job. Dr. McIntyre wasn't looking for a job. Drago wasn't looking for a job. Peter Seja was a principal. We all came into politics in the Labour Party to serve people. Left our jobs, our safe jobs. My salary at the college was $4,400. My salary as the Minister for Education was $4,400 for a very long time. And I worked a fraction of the time at the college than I do as a minister. So when we do these things, my friends, let me tell you something. When we do these things for the people of Dominica, politics is not my preoccupation. I believe that I have been placed there to help people, and that's my mandate and that's my mission. And because when people come to me, and I have been Prime Minister for 13 years, and I have seen thousands of people one-on-one, and not one Dominican can tell you that Roosevelt's career has ever asked them, who do you vote for? Never. And I challenge every Dominican who has met me in my office, one-on-one, or I have been to communities to meet people one-on-one. Challenge one person is going to tell me that I have ever asked you who you voted for. Never. And not that I do not know people, I know people. I know people, I know who come to me, who don't come to me. But I see Dominicans. Because I am the Prime Minister for everybody. That's what I said. So we have to continue to work together, my dear people of Good Hope and Dominica. In terms of roads, in addition to the roads that we have done, you still have a few more roads to be done in Good Hope. And we're making a commitment tonight for the following roads. The road leading to Stephanie Serafin neighborhood, that's $80,000. The Doran Sanderson Road area, that's another $80,000. The Balata Farm Road, for many farmers, $145,694. The access road to the Bayside, $760. So $70,764. And I told John, we call him John, so you know. I want to ensure that the access road to Mangrove House is done. It must be done. So Mangrove, let me tell you, the road to your home will be done. And also, this major landslide that you had, that is really causing some discomfort to you. I went to your home this afternoon. Will be done also as part of the the road project in Good Hope to create safety for your home here at Mangrove and so on. So these are the commitments we're making to you, my friends. The monies, and we want to thank the council for its cooperation and collaboration, and those monies we made available to the council to assist with the implementation of those projects and programs. So we're happy for this. I want to say to the farmers of Good Hope, and to us, of course, the farmers of Dominica, there is money to be made in farming. There is money to be made in farming. People are, in fact, making money from farming. But you have to be diversified. You can't plant one crop. Be diversified. We have to spend time on the farm. Those of us who are engaged as workers on the farm must give the farm owner a fair day's work. A fair day's work. You understand? Fair day's work for the farm. Equal, yes. But I can tell you, my dear brother, that we pay in Dominica more money for farm labor than most countries in the world, you know. Because $50 is almost 20 US. Almost 20 US for 3 hours. When you go to Central America, you work from 6 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock at 7 o'clock at night, at 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night, for maybe 2 US a day. 2 US a day. You see what I'm saying? So we have to address this issue and so forth. But we have placed, as you know, $15 million at the aid bank for farmers, at 3% interest. 3% interest. And if you borrow from $1,000 to $15,000 from the bank, you do not need to have any security. There's some basic information which you need to provide, and once you do that, you're able to get the money. I am urging the farmers of Good Hope to take advantage of this money. This money was placed in the bank by the government, utilizing the CBI funds to help you to expand your farm and to be more productive, and thereby making a better and improved income for yourselves and your family. And I have said to the minister, we need to bring the aid bank here so they can discuss with you how you go about applying, the documents you need, and how we can go about facilitating your application. So let us take advantage of this money at the aid bank, because it is there for you, the people of Dominica and the people of Good Hope. On social services, Dr. Daru and Honourable Sergeant spoke about the social services, the social programs which provide to people in Dominica. And let me make it clear to you, the people of Good Hope, whether it is the school transfer grant, whether it is the construction of washrooms, whether it is the home repair program, whether it is the Yes We Care program, whether it is the allowance for 70 and over, whether it is free medical services for people 60 and older, or children 18 and younger, whatever the social programs are, my friends, it is not a must that government do these things. These are policy decisions. And these policy decisions come from a party that cares for the people of this country and understands that the government has a responsibility to help those who cannot help themselves, or to help those who are experiencing some challenges from time to time. And when people tell you, well, government must do that, then why wasn't it done all along? Your children, it is not when Labour came into office, your children couldn't get to school. It is not when Labour came into office, people started having pit latrines in Dominica. It is not when Labour came into office, people could not go to the hospital because they were afraid they would be shamed in Rosa because they were owing the hospital a few $100s. And I've said to people, the way that these free medical services came about was when I visited the Kalinago territory some years ago. And I met some Kalinagos very sick at their homes, on their beds. And I'm saying to their family, but why aren't they at the hospital? And they go and they get me a hospital bill. And they say to me, you know, Prime Minister, if we go to the hospital, they won't allow my mother to come into the hospital because we owe him some money. And within a matter of days, I caused for Karen Lagos, 60 and older, to have free medical care in Dominica. Went to La Plaine and Daly's. Children cannot get to school. After 6, after 7, the children are in the roundabout. Young girls in the roundabout. Because families could not afford, no matter who you are. When you have 3 children attending secondary school, at $120 each, that's $360. Whether you're a nurse, whether you're a police officer, whether you're a school teacher, whether you're a minister, that is a lot of money for one family. Far more for a family from Dalis who is dependent on Toloma or bailiff to survive. And they have to make decisions to either keep their children home or let the children bum a ride to go to school. And we came in and provided that service to our children to ensure that they can go to school, learn, do well, make a family proud, and have a better future for themselves. That's what we're doing. I will tell you how this school transfer grant that you get for your children is $500 every school year. How it came about. You know, when you go to school in secondary school, children come to school for the first time. They don't have a new shoe. They don't have a new shirt. They don't have a new pant. They have gotten that from their brother who was at school. They have an old school bag from their brother who left school. And I felt, when you come to school in September for your first time, nobody should know whether you come from a rich family or a poor family. All of you must have a new school bag, new shoes, new books, and new uniform so that we do not feel inferior to the rest of us. Because I have seen students hiding hiding because they have on old shoes and do not want to come and mingle. We have to address those things. We cannot look at ourselves and not look at others. We have to ensure that what we want for children, we must also want it for the children, for neighbors' children. So while I may be able to afford to buy for my children, but that should not be my only preoccupation. What about their classmates? What about their schoolmates? That's what life is about. And for me, my friend, I believe that I have a Christian duty, a biblical responsibility to do these things for the people of Dominica. And I have said there is nobody in this country who is going to stop me, the Prime Minister of Dominica, from doing that for the people of Dominica. Nobody. Because I believe it is the right thing to do. And this thing about the calling people beggars and all these things, you know. You see, my friend, we must never forget where we came from. We are somebody today, but life changes, my friend. Life changes. You might be up there today, but tomorrow you're coming down there. And when you're down there, how do you want people to treat you? People lost these days because they go to school and they come back and they have a house and they have a motor car. They forget that they were walking to school. They forget that the mother to cut an exercise book and give you half and give the sister half. They forget that you have to break the pencil in two. And then you have to tie a string and tie it by your belt there so you can't lose it. Man, they forget that. They forget too that they use a pit latrine. But because they have 2 and 3 washrooms at their home, then hell with you who do not have. That's not what life is about. It's about we using the position that we have and recognizing the successes that we have to make other people successful, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what it's about. And that is the difference between this government and those who wish to get into government. When you want to represent people, my friends, you must first love the people. And if you do not love people and care for people, stay out of politics. Stay out of it. Because it is about people. You're not stones. You're not rocks. You're human beings. You have feelings. And you must be treated with respect. With respect and with love and compassion. So when people criticize the so-called Red Clinic, I say, woe be unto them. Woe be unto them. Because when a mother comes to me as the Prime Minister of this country with no insurance, and the child is sick, and the child needs 25,000 euros to go to Martinique, should I tell them to go and pray to the Lord? The Lord has placed me here to help. And if I have the means of helping, why should I say go away? And people criticizing that. But all of us here are human beings. We will fall sick one day. And when you fall sick, yes, you may have a few dollars in the bank, but I have seen people with money spend all their money, my friend, trying to get better. So I say to them, you know, if you're a big boucher today and you don't need people, then you can have your own world. But we have to do this to the people. And I'm committed to helping you, the people of Good Hope, and to helping the people of Dominica, irrespective of who you supported. Because I am not here, I can tell you honestly, I am not here to ask you to vote for me. I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk about your well-being as residents of Good Hope, irrespective of who you are. And to hear from you. How is Good Hope? What can be done to make Good Hope better? That's why I'm here, my dear friends. That's why I'm here. Because we have to work together. Let us put our differences aside and look at Good Hope. Look at our children and ask ourselves, where do we want Good Hope to be in the next 10, 15 years? what kind of future we want for our children. And let us work together to achieve those things for Good Hope and those things for our children. Because all of us who are parents and grandparents here, we're not bothered about ourselves anymore, you know. We're bothered about our children and our grandchildren. That's what we're working, these are the people working for. And therefore we have to ensure that we work together to make life better for them. Because, my friends, the world is a very difficult place today. Life is not easy. When people talk about Dominica and nothing happened in Dominica and so on, then go America now and see how life is. Go in the Caribbean islands. Go to Europe. Every single country in the world, big or small, is experiencing its own challenges. In America, there are millions of people who are out of work with PhDs and master's degrees and first degrees who are out of work. There are people in the Caribbean islands who are out of work. Many of you here have relatives overseas. And many of you have to send money to them because things are a little tight for the month because they're not working for 6 months, for 7 months, for a year. When they would send you 2 barrels, they can't send you one or half a barrel because things tight to them. That's the world. And we have to thank God for the resources that He is giving us through the CBI to help ourselves here in Dominica, ladies and gentlemen. And when people who cannot give you biscuit want to take your bread from your mouth, you must condemn these people because they do not love you and they're not interested in your well-being. And while, you know, there's nothing wrong in criticizing something the government is doing, it is right to criticize what the government is doing. But it must be done constructively. It must not be done to destroy the country. It must not be done to destroy the opportunities of the people of our country. It must not be done to bring our country in bad light. It must be done to make the country better. But when the opposition goes and attacks the CBI program, joining with people who do not even know where Good Hope is, and who will not know where Cochrane Road is, and who will not know the road to Mass Seraphin Home, are seeking to destroy the resources or the source of resources that we have. All of those things I am talking about, my dear friends, would not be able to happen without the Citizenship by Investment Program funds. And it is incumbent on you, each of us has a responsibility in Dominica, to set aside our political inclinations and defend Dominica. Defend Dominica. Because the $400,000 I'm giving to you today will come from the CBI funds. The $200,000 I'm giving you today will come from the CBI funds. The $80,000 for the road to Stephanie Seraphin Home from the CBI funds. The road to Doreen Sanderson Home is $80,000 will come from the CBI funds. The road for the farmers in Balata will come from the CBI funds, $145,000. The access road to the Bayside, $70,000 will come from the CBI funds. The $15 million we placed at the Aid Bank from the CBI funds. The entire Cochrane Road that is now under construction is coming from the CBI funds. So if you take all of these things away from Good Hope, where would Good Hope be, my dear brothers and sisters? So understand this. We must not look at those people who are criticizing the CBI and seeking to destroy it purely from our political inclination. We must look at it from Dominica. We are Dominicans. And we must stand in defense of our well-being and our welfare and in defense of Dominica. Understand these things, my dear friends, because the world is a difficult place. Every country is going through crisis. And even if they want to help you, they are unable to help you. So we are on our own more now than ever before. We have to paddle our canoe. We have to carry our load more now than ever before. And if none of us here in Good Hope wants to pay taxes, where are we going to get the money from? How many of you here in Good Hope would want me when I go to deliver my budget address, would want to hear Skerrit announcing a number of new taxes in Dominica? How many of us? I have not met one Dominican who has told me, Scary boy, put more taxes on us, man. We want more taxes in Dominica. Every time somebody meets me, then boy, the import duty, take it out, no man. The VAT, lower that. That's what we say. But if we destroy the CBI fund program, my friends, by what the opposition is doing, then the country will be forced to impose taxes. The country will be forced to stop give small business grants. The government will have to stop helping you improve your homes. All of the monies, the $898,000 that we have approved so far for washrooms in the Castlebush constituency, every single dollar is coming from the CBI funds. For this year alone, as the Minister of Finance, I have approved some $12 million for the eradication of pit latrines across Dominica. The entire $12 million has come from the CBI funds. You know how much tax you will pay to get $12 million? You know how much VAT you will pay to get $12 million? You know how many vehicles you have to import to get $12 million, my friends? Understand that. So we have to work together to make life better for ourselves, because the world is a difficult place. I can tell you, I have not seen the world more difficult now than any time. Each man for his own. Everybody now must paddle his own canoe. But thank God this government, this country still has some good friends. You know, when Mexico comes and tell you, look, we will help finance the Margaret Hospital. And the Chinese government, the People's Republic of China, is building an hospital, over $40 million for you as a gift. We must say thanks to the Chinese. We must sing their praises. And we must continue to support the One China policy. Have you ever heard the opposition say they support the One China policy? Never. The Chinese now building the West Coast Road for us. The World Bank is at us to take more money from them. They're offering us money because they respect this government. They respect what this government has been doing in terms of the prudent management of the state finances. I have the World Bank calling me almost every day to take more money from them, offering us money to do projects. But I told them, look, you guys too slow and taking too long to do things in this country. So I don't like the World Bank too much. Huh? It's too long. The CDB took a decision to give us $50 million. I have not taken it yet. Offered it to us. Even before we applied to it. Even before we apply for it. Offering to us because they respect this government. They appreciate the fact that we've been managing the affairs of Dominica in a prudent and responsible manner. The European Union, notwithstanding their own challenges, we have some $15 million in the bank now from the European Union. They made a commitment of 8.9 million euros, and we've gotten some $15 million, all of which will go towards farm access roads in Dominica. To improve farm access roads, to improve access to our farms, to enhance our productivity. Because they respect this government and they respect what we've been doing. Look, Dr. Carissa Etienne will be appointed for a second term as PAHO director. Second term. Because nobody dared to challenge Dominica a second time at PAHO. Because they know they would lose. Little Dominica, can you imagine that? Little Dominica, a little lady from Massac, Sibuli, PAHO director in Washington, D.C., not only serving her first term, but being elected a second term. You know, I have never lost any elections, even when I was grammar school, you know, so. So if you want to be on a winning side, you have to join Scary, you know. But I'm happy to be in Good Hope and so on. Very happy to be in Good Hope. And I told John, oh, look, whenever you're scheduling the town hall meeting for Good Hope, consult me first. Because I want to be there. I want you to come to see you. You know, I know you've been calling me for many, many times and saying that you want to see me. But, you know, nothing happens before it's time, you know. Because the schedule is tight. A very tight schedule. And I came in early. I came in early to see people, to see some of my old friends, you know. So I've been there since about 4:15. I was at Beau Reeve, a wonderful hotel just after Castle Bruce before the Congo territory. A foreign investor. Wonderful place. And I'm encouraging foreigners to go there and spend the weekend, to come to Dominica, to go to Beau Reeve. Those of us in Dominica who want a vacation away from home, go and spend a night and a weekend at Beau Reeve. Wonderful place to relax and to rejuvenate. I stopped in Castle Bruce, you know, where he built 10 homes and 10 families are now in those homes. Happy. Improvement to their standard of living. At no cost to them, eh? 2-bedroom house free of charge. London house. My dear brothers and sisters, not many parts of the world you hear that government's doing these things for its people. A storm comes, people's properties are damaged, the government comes in. Never before that used to happen. You were on your own. You had to go and buy your washing machine and your bed by yourself, my brother and sister. But we come in and we help. We've been paying the rent of everybody who was affected by Erica from day one to now. Millions of dollars spending every month to make life comfortable for those who've been affected by Erica. In the great United States of America, where storms happened 10 and 15 years ago, people are still waiting for government to help them. And these things are done, these things have been achieved because this government and the leadership of this country understands the plight of people, and it is a compassionate government, and it is a government that cares about people. Because we have to care about people. We have to be our neighbor's keeper. But the government can't do it alone. We all have to play our part. We have to be positive. We have to be positive. We have to think positively. We have to do positive things. We have to ensure that our children study and stay in school. Because if we do not ensure as parents and a community that our children stay in school, we can't blame the government. Because we provide free transportation, we provide books, we provide uniforms, and we ensure that you have a teacher to teach your children at school. So we have to ensure that our children take advantage of the opportunities. Because sometimes when we have access to the opportunity, we tend to take it for granted. So now we have a road to Cochrane, we take it for granted. We have to care for it. Because Good Hope is known for planting flowers, beautiful flowers. I go to your homes and everybody has beautiful flowers. Clean yards, homes are clean. You know, and it's really encouraging when you come to Good Hope and you go to people's homes and their yards and, you know, clean, swept properly, lots of beautiful flowers. Keep it up. And I want the rest of Dominica to come and see what's happening in a small community called Good Hope, how people are keeping the place clean. Because I am getting very upset with Dominicans for dirtying our country. Too many people are just dumping rubbish right, left, and center in Dominica. And Dominicans must stop it. We must not just dump rubbish and you drive along the roads. You turn in the corner and people are taking their rubbish, talk, and dropping it on the side of the road and they're waiting for government to come pick it up. I mean, And they tell you about, oh, I went to Florida and Florida is so clean. Florida is clean because if they see you dumping rubbish on this area, they will charge you. And you respect their laws. So when we go to people's countries, we respect their laws. Why are we not respecting ours in Dominica? Then they tell you about Singapore. Oh, we must adopt the Singapore model. But if you throw chewing gum on the ground in Singapore, jail time for you. They flog you. Maybe we should put the laws in Dominica. Flog you people. Because understand this, my dear friends. Understand this. Understand this. Understand this. Understand this. You know, we're speaking as family and friends here. You know, I'm not yet only as Prime Minister, you know. I'm from Good Up too, you know. You know, I'm from Good Up too. You know, so... You know, so, I mean, this guy can go home and I can stay there, you know. I mean, you know, so... You know, so let me tell you, my dear friends, you know, we have to show a greater sense of pride in our country. And the indiscriminate dumping of garbage across Dominica must stop. Because if we're promoting our country as the nature island of the world, if we're promoting our country as a pristine country, if we're promoting Dominica as a beautiful country, we cannot go and just dump stuff and deface the beauty of our country. There must be a sense of pride. But that's not about solid waste, honey. It's about our responsibility. Solid waste has a role to play, but I believe that if each of us in Dominica, big, small, or not so big, play our part in keeping Dominica clean, Dominica will be clean. Because here in Good Hope, every one of you make it a point of duty to sweep your yard and to keep the road clean. You know? So if it is happening here in Good Hope, why can't it happen in every single village and community in Dominica? And I'm saying that if we do not raise our consciousness as a nation in respect to our responsibility to the environment, we will pay the price. So I am calling on all of us in Dominica to play our part in keeping our country clean and beautiful to the glory of God and, of course, to the pride and satisfaction of all of us in our country. My dear brothers and sisters, my friends, fellow Dominicans, I'm very happy to be here in Good Hope. And I will come back. I will come back. I will come back to ensure that the roads are being done and the homes are being repaired to the satisfaction of the beneficiaries and so forth. But I want to say to you, I have the greatest admiration and respect for your Honourable Johnson Drigo. You know, you can say what you want about Johnson Drigo, but nobody in this constituency can say that Johnson Drigo is not interested in the welfare and well-being of everyone in this constituency. The man is there, day in, day out. You know, during the disaster time, I had to call him because we're in touch, and Johnson Drigo is messaging me after 2 in the morning. He's out there, and I said, comrade, go home and get some rest. There. And he goes from ministry to ministry. He comes to the Prime Minister and says, Prime Minister, look, I have a project, I want this, I want that, and so on. He represents your interests. And that's the kind of power up you want. That's the kind of power up you have, and that's the power up you must keep. And when a Prime Minister can stand publicly and proclaim his power like that, I can tell you he's a good fellow. That's the kind of power up you need. And You know, he really, genuinely cared for the people. And that's what representation is about. And really, that has been his entire life. Not only because he's in politics, his entire life, all of us. Dr. Drago was a medical doctor, but he went out beyond his call of duty to go and see patients free of charge. Dr. Mark was a vet. He would go and do surgical interventions for farmers across Dominica free of charge. You know, I mean, this morning, I've seen Drago coming to town, and he has 5 or 6 plantains behind his jeep. Helping somebody to bring their produce down to town, to the market. I mean, which parliament does that, my friend, besides Johnson Drigo? Helping a farmer. Trying to save a farmer a few $100s from hiring a truck. And sometimes I tell him, you know, you have to slow down a bit, you know. Because he wants to be everywhere at the same time, you know. I will tell you what I call him sometimes, you know. That's between me and him, you know. But thank you, my dear brothers and sisters. You know, you've been wonderful. You know, Good Hope deserves everything that is getting. And I don't want anybody in the country listening to me to be envious of what Good Hope is getting tonight. Because, you know, let us set aside our own political affiliation. And I believe that for much, much too long, that communities like Good Hope have been neglected by political parties and governments. You know? And I'm not in the business of bullshitting people, you know. If I tell you I'm going to do something, it might take a little time sometimes, but I will do it. I don't make empty promises. Life isn't about making promises to people that you know they can't keep. We have to be genuine with people. We have to be honest with them. We have to be straight up with them. So whatever promises we make to you tonight, my dear brothers and sisters, the next time I come back for the next town hall meeting, those things will come to pass by the grace of God. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
By the way, I forgot to mention that I have also approved the house for Honey.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. So for those of you who attended the small business meeting and received your forms, we want you to get your invoices so we could complete the project for the small business support. And as we go along, we will implement all of the program promised by the Prime Minister today. We will now open for some questions. I think we have a mic somewhere wrong, so we want to speed up because it's already late. We'll take 5 questions at a time, and we'll respond to your questions after we've gotten the 5 questions. So we want to speed up. Let's roll right away.
Yes. I want my Prime Minister, Dr. Rosaskari, to commit himself to be the President and the Prime Minister of Dominica for life. Because we need a man like that. We don't want him to go nowhere by the power of God. No, that is what I have to, my point and my comment. A man like that, we can't allow him to go nowhere in Dominica.
I would like to say to the Prime Minister, I would like to place a question to the Prime Minister of Dominica, and I would like to know when will that passage you talk about the Bayside? It's a very important thing you talk about, because that's where the children, the young children, use there to go and have their sports. That's the only area they have for the sporting facility. And that area is something that's very important, and to go across there is very dangerous for them. So if I would like to know when you have planned to do it, make sure it come to pass, because they really need of it.
Yes, Mr. Darrow, this is for you. What I really wanted to ask you comment about the hospital, the new hospital, like your medication will be free of charge?
Good evening, everyone here tonight. Mr. PM, good evening. I'm Mafa Tuesday. My question is for you. Holding a plaque for 2008 for most organic farmer, in the East. And my project now, there was a huge stone above the intake. A slide came down and rolled over the stone, and it damaged the intake. I went to the PAREP, I spoke to him. It's a year now my paper is inside at Ministry of Agriculture. And he telling me the last time when I went there, he said, I said, no, I don't come to fight with you with weapon, but I come with my tongue. But waiting is a heavy load. I am still waiting. I need to do my business because I am organic and team on your farmer. Thank you.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Thanks very much for the opportunity. Maybe the first time handling a microphone, but I'm indeed grateful for the opportunity. Mr. Prime Minister and your fellow comrades, thanks very much for coming to Good Hope. You all are welcome, and it's a privilege to be there with you all. For the past 21 years, I've been living with a situation in my country. I'm from Dominica, number one. My name is Frederick Darrow of Good Hope, and I've been complaining ever since. This situation have driven a wedge in the relationship between my father, look, he's right there, and the other family members of I. Maybe the good people, public, they have never understand or even understand that about me. They haven't heard of that. But then during that time, I find myself, I complain all about already. The last person I believe I maybe complain about and try to warn with a certain lawyer that brought me so much of injustice in the country. I think it was UPM. I have complained president. I saw a picture of one at Ponkasi. Even the sitting president at this moment, he's there. I complain him, I warn him with that certain lawyer. And nobody maybe never understand. Even my father maybe would figure out it's me that made play worthless with their money. They assist me to get a vehicle or whatever I think. And to this present time, nothing has happened. So Mr. Prime Minister and the other colleagues, I'm asking you all at this moment, seeing that I had learned to live with it and maybe understand as to where I should rest this problem. I stopped complaining, but tell me and maybe the public as to what plan or what system will you put in place to avoid such situation that maybe if I have to complain, even a policeman with a certain person, I won't have to reach to that point where I have to go to president. And am I not a citizen? Thank you very much, Jen. Let me hear from you.
Yes, good afternoon. Mr. PM, I would want to ask you what plan you have for me. Since 18 years, I voted in this Labour Party. And my house got burned in 1994. And up to now, I cannot hear nothing. So I would want to know what plan you have for me. And furthermore, since this Astajin is Lauren Bunny that was there, I'm landslide washing away under the house. I'm saying, not my house. It's my son's house. And the parrot know how many disasters that passed. From Jean Ophelia passed. From Ophelia, Erica passed. All the time the river passing under the house. So up to now, I cannot hear nothing. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lawrence St. Pierre. My concern is about public convenience. Yes, I want a toilet, but I want it on the Bayside in Good Hope. Because the Bayside in Good Hope is the toilet. And many people in here have a good idea as to what I'm talking about. I think if we put a toilet on the bayside, it will serve many people. Many people who know me here, this is the second time I'm attempting to clean the bayside because all our cans and bottles wash down the river to the bayside, half filled with water, a mosquito hazard. I spent my time cleaning it yesterday, a few days. When I came this morning, someone had excreted right where I cleaned. It was the only clean spot on the bayside. So please, can we get one down there of all the toilets that are being given away? I think that would do the village very good.
Good evening. What I want to say this evening is pretty much I want to first of all tell the Prime Minister I'm happy that you choose to come to Good Hope. So we are happy to have you here. And the other members that's on the table, and Mr. Drigo, good job. I want to say that I hear quite a bit of money is being spent in Good Hope, a significant amount of money. And when I listen to those figures, I don't hear anything about safety of the people of Good Hope. And we know that. We've been hearing about Good Hope being prone to disaster. Mr. Prime Minister, let me inform you that where you are right now, sitting, that used to be a school. And it was washed away by a landslide. Above there was a health center, washed away by a landslide. We've had two major incidents in Good Hope that took the lives of people. Most recently, Erica. And since Erica, this government has not really looked at addressing the problem of safety in Good Hope. The council, and by the way, I am a member of the Good Hope Village Council. The council has addressed it through looking at a major drainage program for the community. And we are in the process of putting a project together for that. But I am hearing the amount of money that is being spent on toilets, housing renovation. But what about the safety of the people? We have to be safe here in Good Hope. We consider this building here a disaster shelter, hurricane shelter. How many people come here when there's a disaster? They're scared to come here. They're scared to come here because that was a disaster area. So when we're talking about all these things that have been done in Good Hope, I would like the PAL rep to look at disaster management for the village of Good Hope. A report by the Dominica Red Cross was prepared after Erica, and it specifically indicated that a few people should be relocated. And I think they specifically mentioned 4 people, 4 homes, 4 people. One of them is my mother, because Erica, there was a slide. It took her the water where they all putting all the stones. I don't know how to call it. The house is, the toilet stuff is a mess. The intake. We have Edwi, and I want to say that the government really assisted Edwi. They got a place for her in Roseau, and now she's going to get a house. So kudos to that. I applaud you guys for that. But the other people, what about Maldives over there in Point? What about Roma? All these people, we should really think about these people, and the report clearly indicated that these people should be relocated. And in general, after Erica, everybody was talking about they want to live Good Hope. But nobody talking about that now. Everybody wants toilet and bathroom, which is good. But the point I want to make is that safety of the people, we need to look at that, and the major drainage program that the council is looking at, maybe government should probably step in and to assist us in that venture. Thank you.
Let's address some of the issues so far so we can advance the discussion. The question which my friend raised about the road to the playing field. To the playing field, it also included the leveling of the playing field, okay? And to make it more accessible to the residents. So the road also includes the playing field project and so forth. And before the end of the financial year, the council will have the monies for that road. Okay? The question my friend raised about the problem he has had with a lawyer. There has been a legal profession bill with the government for some time now. And it is our hope that before the end of this year, 2017, we'll go to Parliament to pass this law that will deal with the management of lawyers in Dominica. Because we keep on hearing of complaints which citizens have with the experienced lawyers. Whether it is lawyers taking their money or lawyers are representing properly or, the conflict of interest issues. So you will have a mechanism in law to report such matter. And the lawyer in question, once he would have found to be on the wrong side, will be dealt with in accordance with the legislation that will be passed and so forth. The problem now is that there's not really no legal mechanism to treat with lawyers except if you take them to court. But the legal profession bill will address a number of the issues which people confront with lawyers, including the one that you explained to us this evening, my friend. Okay? But we can speak after further and so on, so we can discuss if you want. Mr. Darrow will talk to you privately about your particular issue. Okay? So we'll speak to you one-on-one about your particular issue. All right? No, Mr. Darrow. All right? The issue of the question about his safety, I mean, most of Mr. Drigo's presentation this evening spoke about safety and the mitigation that has been put in place to seek to eradicate the presence of hazards and certain challenges to residents. The roads that have been constructed enhances the safety of the community because it creates greater access to those homes and to places of safety. Retaining walls, construction of retaining walls. The long-term issue with regards to Good Hope, with regards to Campbell, with regards to certain sections of Bakatel, if not the whole of Bakatel, has to deal with the complete relocation of these communities. We have a study before the government that has identified for us, from professionals who have done it, communities in Dominica which are very vulnerable. But the point is, until such time that you have relocated those communities, there are some things that you must do in the meantime. And that is what the government is doing in the meantime to ensure the safety of the residents. So if there's a retaining wall which should be constructed to enhance people's safety, then that's what's being done. If roads have been built to enhance people's safety, then that's what's being done. So you have those issues there, but you have communities in Dominica. I mean, for example, I went to Campbell in 2007. And I told the residents in 2007 that they should consider relocation. Nobody took me seriously back then. Until Erica came. And once you see these storms, or the memory of the storm subsides a bit, people don't want to move. So it is a discussion which we will have to have in Good Hope about the future of Good Hope as a village and as a place of residence. We took a decision to relocate the entire Petit Savan. But there are people who went back on their own and who are still there living, notwithstanding the fact that you don't have to be have sight to understand that Petit Savan is not a safe place to be. So we must have those discussions, but it is a discussion which must be started by us, the residents there, because at the end of the day, the decisions will have to be taken by ourselves, because this country is a democracy, and we can't just put people on a bus and tell them, let's go to live in vehicles with us. It's a discussion we must have. We must present the facts to them. But in the meantime, we cannot say, well, Good Hope has to be relocated, so don't do anything in Good Hope. That's not what it is. There are some things that we can do to mitigate against hazards and disasters. And that's what we'll do. I mean, Dominica itself has certain many vulnerabilities. Driving from here to Roseau. You see all of the edge failures along the way, with rivers being next to the roads, washing away the roads in bells and so forth. But you cannot say, Let us try to build a road in the mountain. The same thing is going to happen. So you have to put mitigation systems in place, as we're doing, and spending the money to do those things. So if people's homes are leaking, or they have no washrooms, we can't say to them, well, you know, we have a report that says we have to relocate you, so we can't give you a washroom, we can't fix your house, let your house leak in the meantime, put some pails and buckets and call it water seal. You see what I'm saying? People have to eat. People have to sleep in the house still, you know. So we do not, I don't think anybody here disagrees that this place is highly vulnerable. And you have had historical events that have said that Good Hope is a vulnerable place with landslides and earth movement and so forth. And I think at some time we need to have a national discussion in the country on relocation of certain communities. But at the end of the day, the people who reside there and call it their homes must be the drivers of it. And I made reference to communities that we have said you should relocate in Jubik. There's still some people who are still there. You know, there are people in Bagatelle we have said to move. Some of them are still there. And every time it rains, they leave the homes. You know, so it is a discussion which we need to have. But there's a report on the table. But in the meantime, there are some things which must be done to enhance the safety of the residents of Good Hope and so far. Okay? Well, you know, Honey is the biggest professor in Good Hope, you know. Let me tell you something. But seriously, anybody who is 18 and younger gets free medical services at the hospital, including free medication. Anybody who's 60 years and older gets free medication and free medical treatment at the hospital. But our system is so generous, our health system is so generous in Dominica, that you will not be denied medical services or medication at any health facility in Dominica because you can't afford to pay. You go to the nurse there, you come, she have to give you an injection, she have to give you something, it costs money. You don't have to pay anything at any health center in Dominica. You go to the hospital, you may not have the money to do the x-ray. The doctors, the nurses have an obligation to provide the medical care to you. You can owe us later, but they must provide this service to you at the point in time. When you go to a private doctor, that's a different matter. When you go to a private doctor, and this is why I always want to encourage Dominicans to first use the public system. You know, first use the public system because it is much cheaper for you when you use the public system of medicine. So, yes, we're building the new hospital. We also train in doctors. We also train in nurses in specialized areas to ensure that we have the human resources within Dominica to provide the optimal care that will be required in this new facility. You understand? So these are some things we're looking at. And even with regards to some important elements, once this new hospital is constructed, we're going to have a new management system at the hospital. So there'll be something like a board. They'll be managing the hospital, we provide the resources, and you will deal with the hospital and so forth. We'll have a CEO who will oversee the hospital. Understand in terms of the management. You will not, if you fall sick, God forbid, and you will have to come to the new hospital, you can't bring your sheets or your pillow. All sheets and pillows will be white in keeping with international standards, because we're going to discourage and dissuade people from bringing their sheets and their pillows and the pillowcases to the hospital. When you come to the hospital, all you have to bring is your clothes. You understand? But the linen will be provided by the hospital, and so all walls will be white, okay, to prevent any incidents of bugs and also possible diseases that sometimes can be brought into a very sanitized environment and so forth. So a number of positive changes, all to enhance the delivery of medical services. And I can tell you, I am exceptionally impressed with the leadership that Dr. Darrow is providing in that regard. He is really championing the reform and improvement in the health services. And publicly, I can tell you, I am very impressed with his efforts in leading that charge and so on.
another round of questioning. Probably the last round of questioning was 9:20. Yeah? Good.
Good evening to the head table and everyone in here. I am addressing maybe all the ministers on the head. Mr. Sejan, there is something I see that is happening in Good Hope, and I don't like it. I don't have children going to school, but I am watching children going to school on a bus, and they are sitting at the back of the chauffeur seat, going to school in the morning time. I don't like it because on that seat is hot. There are times the children have to walk down to Sansove, or the principal have to give them a ride. Either the bus is leaving too early or whatever. I mean, we should have a time. And I don't like it. I don't have children going to school, but it hurts. Sometimes you're watching two little children running down the road and saying, Miss Rachel will ask, sir, give those two children a ride for me now, please. And there is a bus. The children doing extra classes in Castle Bruce, what time they have to be walking home? I mean, let's be reasonable. We can make a time for these children. Once I spoke to Mr. Drigo about it. And I think it's time for those things to change. Mr. Daru, my good pal. Them to you. There is something that is going on again. The ladies from the district are going to town to the gynecologist doctors. And when they reach there, the doctor will see them and the doctor will tell them, I will see you in a month's time. Before the month is up, they call you, come with $800 and come to my office. I'll be doing whatever procedure they're doing. I mean, your head person, where are you getting $800 at that time? I mean, be reasonable. You do it for $800. When you check, the result is not good. Another $800 again. For how it is now, I mean, I would like you to look into that or check that for me because I work at the hospital. Right? And I don't know who is giving it to me, if it's the Prime Minister or Mr. Drigo. I was a non-established public servant. I am doing a little farming now. But right now, Agouti is eating all my produce, my yams, my tashin, even the ginger, the Agouti eating. I had a place where I had a piece of yams. A place I would get 5 bags of yam. I could not even get a 50 pounds of yam the last time. I spoke to Mr. Drigo about it. I just decided, no, let me just leave agriculture alone. Let me just leave farming alone. Because to me it's a waste. I trying to plant cocoa now, but the plants are so expensive that I cannot reach to buy it. From Portsmouth, I have to look for transportation to bring it Good Hope, and it's a little tight. So I don't know what you all can do for me, but I need a little compensation. Please, I'm asking to give me a little boost. How many cocoa plants I need? About 50 plants. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
Good night. I am officially from Fort Saint-Jean, but I live in Mopo for a while. Now, for the whole meeting, I've heard of Good Hope, Tranto, Deepa, but I've heard nothing about Mopo, only about the Balataru. Now, Mr. Drigo, every time he come in Mopo, from the time he reach, I have to be running by the way. Drigo! I busy, I can't talk to you now. So I want to know what that in Mopo that he cannot stop for him to talk to us. The other day, the whole road had holes. My boyfriend had to take his mother's cement to block the holes just for the vehicles to pass. So I want to know what that's going to happen in Mopo, because you're hearing Good Hope having things, Sansove having things, Deepa having, and Mopo, there's nothing done in Mopo. So I want to know if Mopo not a village?
Yeah, good night. Good night to the people of Good Hope. And good night to the government officials, the Prime Minister, and also Representative Paul Rep. John. Well, I want to speak on behalf of my son and my daughter who died in Erica over there. I am their personal father. And in real life, I have not received any form of recognition from the government, like as somebody that lost their family. Okay? So I just want to tell them straight, as they're in the position to deal with me. So what is actually, they have in store for me? Because I have received nothing on the behalf. I don't know what they do for the mother, but I have received not a cent. Not even the time of Erica that I get a little ration. And I fall sick. I stayed 40 days, 40 nights in the hospital. I didn't even know exactly where I was. But I could remember I met the Prime Minister and I met Mr. McIntyre. So I told them my situation. They did send John to me. But not too long, John told me something, but I don't know exactly if it's real or if it's not real. So right now, the Prime Minister is there. I'm trying to make him, to tell him straight that I am the person. So if he has something to do for me, that they can do it for me. Okay, and that's just my question. I don't have no form to embarrass John or embarrass the government or nobody. That is just my question. Yeah.
You think I'm talking? My dear beloved Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, God bless you for whatever you are doing for the poor, the needy, the black, the white. You are doing something for everybody. You don't know black and white. You don't know blue. You're doing for everybody. We there should be saying, God bless you. We should say that. God bless you. And I'm asking you something. Erica hit me. And it left my intake hanging up. This shall go down twice already. I am afraid because we are in the hot season and they say climate change, and really climate change. See so much rain, falleth for livenage. So I want you to give me a little, tell me something. I'm not going to sleep by the people Cochrane there. I'll be there during the day, but at night. Prime Minister, my beloved son, my son, I love him so much. Tell me, what are you going to do for me, please? With the landslide. I didn't hear. Okay, he answered. I would like to say, a big thank you to the government of Dominica and my parrot, you're part of the government. But a special thank you. You need to use the mic. They said you need to use the mic because they're broadcasting it live.
Okay, a big special thank you to the government of Dominica for everything that they are doing and for what they will do for Good Hope. Because there's so many things you can point out that is being done in Good Hope on a whole. Okay? And I mean, there's room for more, and we are still asking for more, as Mr. Prime Minister promised us. And I, as a villager, know that it will come to happen. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the Cochrane Road, Mr. Prime Minister. You remembered when I told you about it, and you said you knew what I was talking about. Thank you for that. Thank you for the bridge Palrep. Thank you for the houses that you will be repaired, and the toilet. Thank you for the school bus. Thank you for the college fee that is being paid. Thank you for everything that is being done and for what will
be done in the future. We just want to say yes, all you as the government. Thank you.
Okay, good evening once again, everybody. We welcome all the development that is taking place in Good Hope at the present moment and what is on the card for Good Hope still. Okay? So my fellow councillor, Mr. Grove, asked about Good Hope, saying that it is still deemed a disaster area. You know, God forbid any disaster will occur in the village again. We are confident and we pray to God that such disaster never occur in the village again. But in the event that God does not answer our prayer, okay, and something happen, you know, we need to have a place already prepared. The Prime Minister said, well, maybe we'll have to have a consultation later down. But I would probably like to propose to the government to try to acquire some land, some extra land, in the event that, you know, such a disaster occurs. And beside that, when you look at Good Hope or future generation, you cannot build in the village again. So young persons who have to build has to find another place, alternative. So we would like the government to give some consideration, urgent consideration to that.
Thank you for the questions and comments. You know, we've discussed your issue, the agotage in the cabinet, you know. We know, and Drago has raised this with us, so we had extensive discussions about it. And it's a challenge which farmers are having in many parts of the country. With there is a high population of agoties now, and they're eating almost every root crop. It is something that the government has to be very careful how it handles, because it has no legal obligation to this matter. So it cannot give any farmer or anybody compensation for this, because compensation is a legal obligation. But certainly we'll work with farmers and see how we can assist, you know. But I can't commit to any legal compensation, but we can assist and so forth. And I said the 50 cocoa plants which you require, the Ministry of Agriculture will deliver to your farm by next Friday, God's willing. And we'll also provide some additional support to you with way of fertilizers and so forth to tend to your plants. And of course, we'll talk to you bilaterally on some other things we can do for you and so on. Okay? My partner who raised the issue about Erica, and he's an Erica victim and so forth, I know I can't discuss your issues publicly, you know, even if you answer the question. But the PARAP has your matter under control, okay? But I don't want to discuss it openly and so forth, you know, it's a private matter. The other ministers will respond to the specific questions with regard to the bus and the school children and so forth. And I'm not sure the other questions, Drago. Yeah. Dr. Dara will respond to this and so, okay?
Yes, in response to the question reference the bus drive, the bus, first of all, let me publicly thank the bus drivers who are contracted to transport your children to and from school for the level of commitment and dedication that they have shown over the years. Because outside of that, we would still have been experiencing problems with our children accessing the school. So I want to publicly thank the bus drivers for the service that they are rendering. Importantly, though, what we need to do, working with the council that is responsible for operating or managing here locally for us, is to establish set times of departure and also picking up of the children and at certain points. Okay, so importantly, the council, you need to assist us in that regard. So we establish set times for departure so that the children, the parents, the bus driver, they are all aware that we leave, say, at 7 o'clock, and you pick them up by Majambo's shop. So we need to establish that. I suspect that in some cases, and that happens in all communities, we have overloading of the bus, and that is why the children have to sit on the engine. So this is something that we have to guard against. It may mean that the bus may have to make a second trip depending on the number of children. But importantly, parents, please understand that you have a responsibility to get your children up early, prepare them, and get them on time so they are not left behind. Okay? I think that was it.
Okay, thank you. In relation to the concern that you raised, my friend, long-time friend from PMH, since my intern days at PMH, the issue of public and private practice is one that really has raised some concerns to us. Of course, one has to first of all recognize and appreciate that there are certain services that are not available within the public health sector that are available within the private health services. However, you would have heard the Prime Minister mention earlier as to a new management structure as it pertains to the hospital. And we are hoping that this new management structure, this is really the purpose of it, will take into account a lot of these little discrepancies that we see happening from time to time. So, of course, as I said, it might vary from case to case as to what was the reason why the patient was asked to come to the doctor's private office. It could be that whatever procedure, whatever service maybe wasn't available at the public health sector. I'm just saying. Okay, but there are instances that have a reason from time to time that would have raised concern to us, I can tell you. And we're hoping that with the management structure, all of these things will be guided by policy and controlled by a board as stated by the Honourable Prime Minister. Okay, so we're hoping that this would address the concern. But just so that we understand and also PM the issue of medical legal. This also poses a medical legal issue to some of us because we need to define where does the public service end and where does the private sector or private service end. So we are looking at all of these issues and hoping to take care of them with the new management structure at the new National Hospital. Okay? Yeah. Thank you.
Reference to my friend from Mopo? No, Mopo. Just to say that Mopo is considered part of Gurup. So we invited Mopo people on Friday, gone to the small business meeting we had. There were people from Mopo represented, and we have integrated Mopo people into the housing repair program list for Gurup. So Mopo will be covered under Gurup because most of the people from Gurup and Mopo vote in Gurup. So you're part of Gurup and we will cover you. I will have to... wait. I will make up for the visits. I'll come and visit you. Okay. We will take our mobile bus stop, okay? So we will take our last few questions, right? We'll take our last few questions. And then we'll close.
I am promising you, my friend from Mopo, I will personally come to Mopo sometime soon, okay? So we can I will come with Drago. All right? Good. All right. We'll take our last little questions, please, sir. Please.
Mr. Prime Minister,
I will tell a great story and I'll come and see him. I will come and see you. All right, please.
Yeah, currently I'm into information technology. Yeah, currently I'm into information technology, but at the moment my main focus is fishing Mr. Drago spoke about safety, but he didn't say anything about fishermen safety. So at the moment, I'm at a DYBT program, and my main focus is on fishermen and their safety. And my business plan entails selling fishing accessories and safety devices to the fishermen. So using my information technology skills, my focus is to get the fishing accessories and the safety devices that our fishermen need, because every year we have the problem of fishermen getting lost at sea and stuff, and I think that should be really considered. So my question is, what possibility is there for my program, my stuff to be guaranteed?
Let me just respond to your man. I must say that we've been working with him and supporting him. He has prepared his small business plan. We will definitely continue assisting you. Once you complete your training, we'll help you establish your small business. I could have gone into fishing and taken another half an hour, but we'll speak about that at another time. But for sure, the support for fishing in this area will definitely continue, and we're looking forward to assisting you in completing your establishing your business so that you can get the support from the fisher folks of the area. But rest assured, the support is there.
Good night to the table. A concern that I have, and seeing that the Minister of Education is there and also the PM is there, at the front of the building, we have our preschool downstairs, and then we have the wall there that is incomplete, and then we have our preschoolers running every day during snack time or playtime, and then one of them can easily fall over. So we need some consideration for even if the wall cannot be completed, at least a fencing or something just for the safety of our children.
Tonight, and this is one of the reasons why from time to time we move ahead, find local funds to do our project, because this fencing is one of the projects on the BNTF, which is a CDB funded project. So not too long ago, the engineers were there. They were doing some surveys and so on. We expect this project to come on stream very soon, but we're not sure how soon. But if we find it's taking too long, we will take the decision to go ahead and do the project. Rest assured that we are going to monitor, and if we think BNTF is taking too long, we will go ahead and do it. But we know it's an absolutely necessary project that has to be done, and we'll ensure it is done at the soonest. Okay? One last question.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. My question is directed to the Minister of Education. I would like to ask, seeing that so many things are happening in this Sansover area, I would like to ask a question. When is that school surrounding is going to be fenced? Because I'm a worker at this school, and too many times the young children are running all over the place, especially by the riverside. I don't like it, and I don't like it at all. And another thing is that I would like to say, I would like, as a parent, to have some form of security guard during the daytime for the school children.
Thank you very much for that question. In fact, let me admit that is one of the matters that we should have discussed. And just to advise that the fencing project at the Sansover Primary School and the addressing the water that comes through the joint in the roof are to be addressed shortly under the BNTF project. We have a major project for your school, and the signing ceremony should take place pretty soon. I cannot give you the exact date, but what I will do is to liaise with the Ministry of Social Services under whose purview the project falls, and we will communicate with your PAL rep so you can have the exact date when the project will commence. Okay?
Thank you very much. Let me just say to the young people of Good Hope that the Bayside project is a project you requested. So we will do the crossing and we will do the leveling of the project of the Bayside. But I want you to be involved. So when the engineers are going to be coming, I'm going to invite all of you, the young people from Good Hope, so we could meet here and we could discuss how we're going to invest this money on the Bayfront, on your behalf. Let me take the opportunity to thank our team for being here. We said we were going to try to do a 2-hour meeting. It's now 9:30, almost 9:30. And so actually it's well over 3.5 hours. But I want to thank the Prime Minister very much for making the time to be here with you, the people of Good Hope. I want to also thank Dr. Daru and Honourable Senja. You know, they were with us throughout the campaign, you remember that? And we had all of this meeting with Dr. Daru and Peter Senja on the platform. I want to thank Honourable McIntyre. He said he would not speak tonight, but I was going to allow him to say a few words. But I'm happy that he accompanied the Prime Minister to be here with us. I want to thank, most importantly, you, the people of Good Hope, for turning up in such large numbers to be here tonight and to making your contribution. We will respond to all of the questions you have raised, but rest assured that everything will not be done at the same time. But our commitment to delivering to you cannot be questioned. So I want to thank you for being here. We will work with you. I want you to support the contractors who will be doing the bathrooms for you, the washrooms. I do not want you to leave everything to them. Assist in carrying the blocks, because some of you, you're not living next to road. So you are on a hill and so on. So you have to assist. Let your children carry a block up in the afternoon. When they go to the shop and they're coming back home, let them assist in whatever way they can. Because we have a fixed budget for these washrooms. And rest assured, everybody will get their washroom. So I thank you very much. I'm traveling tomorrow to be back on the weekend by Sunday. And Monday again, when I'm back, I'll be at it with you. God bless you, everybody. Good night to all listeners.